Yes, sir. What's going on with you, Jay? All is well, man. Peace and love. We on the manifest. We got a grand drawing to bring forth to our family. You know, a lot of people haven't seen some of these measures, so we're gonna bring it forth at this time, my brother. And it's actually addressing a measure that took place last night. And we want to make sure that our people can get some grand insight. So the goal is to bring clarity to a matter, and hopefully we can lay this matter to rest after this particular subject matter. And it's gonna be a powerful bill. Just a little bit more brushing up, on some historical drawings, and we want to make sure that our family can most definitely get some insight out of what it is we have to bring to the manifest. So without further ado and delay, I got a grand draw, and I want to start by sharing my screen and tune our family into what took place in the last few shadow hours, so to speak. Okay, I was invited to our brother Sarnetta's show to converse with a brother that's been basically bringing measures, I guess to try to debunk or rebut everything it is that I'm bringing on the manifest. This brother called himself the Magi Smash Rockwell. And so I was invited to the platform, and I want to show the footage of the conversation. I want to show the footage of how among our people there's a problem where people don't have a consideration for the audience that are paying attention to what we putting out here. My goal is to teach our people. Everybody that know me by now. And some of our people may not be up to par when it comes to comprehending certain things. And some of our people, their attention span can only grasp what entertains them, and that's all good and well. But a lot of the measures I bring forth are for those who are truly earnestly seeking to know a thing, to know what is being the relation to dealing with history, who our ancestors is, and everything, because all of this instill what we call race pride within our people. This is my intent. I don't get paid for what I do. I don't fleece my people, for their finances, to do what I do. Everything I do it freely. And that's just being real. I make my living off the going out there, getting it from the muscle, getting in the field, and doing what I do best outside of disseminating this information. So nevertheless, I want to give y'all a grand drawing to be able to see what's being said here. And we're going to let y'all pretty much pick up on the cues in this thing. And I'm going to bring clarity to the measure, because a lot of our people like to gaslight, and they like to try to, I guess you can call it battle with truth, as far as dealing with the wits, and this is where they are limited, when it comes to really edifying our people and teaching our people. We can see that our people are falling by climbing. So anyway, I'm gonna let you hear this thing right here, and we'll touch on it. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go over here. Peace and love, Noble Brian. I'm gonna drop this in here just in case somebody would like to be here, and I will be checking back periodically, to see if anybody is in the queue, and I let my family in, and anybody can most definitely come into this special link. However, hold up, let me do this right here. It should be live. Let's see here. I'm gonna try it again. And if it's not live, you know, because it should be a live link, it may be doing this as well because I'm streaming to a couple of platforms. Yeah, I'm streaming to a couple of platforms, and some of them I don't know if they allow it. There you go, right there. Our brother Jay. Most definitely, we're gonna add our brother to the queue. Yeah, what's going on, brother? Can you hear me?
What's going on, bro? I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, all is well, all is well. Most definitely, man. We got a lot of our family probably be tuning in too as we go along. But yeah, I want to set this measure out and bring some clarity here, man, because our people have a short attention span, as we know when it comes to dealing with, you know, long drawn out measures, you know, or when they don't see some type of controversy and conflict. So, you know, we're gonna show this video right here to show you what's going on, and all I can say is, man, just check it out, brother Jay, and we'll go through it. It ain't long, it's short, but
All right.
I got some measures I'm gonna do in reference to this. So let me do this real quick. Okay, let me share the screen. Well, it's already shared. So all I got to do is go over here and cut the video. Okay. Can you hear this?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Hey, come on in, Commissioner. We're going to respect the guests. And there's only one mic. So you got the floor now, Commissioner. It's on you, brother, if you have a question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I know the rules, you know what I mean?
Sir.
That make sure one don't cut in on me. I just want to ask the brother this question here, you know, because I seen everything he said, and the brother agreed with me when it comes to seeing the history of most people referring to Kemet as far as being with the black land. We have no problem with that. But the problem is we find no place in the text where it referred to Kemet as a black people. And I see all the stuff that he was trying to connect to this, and I have to point this out because let's do it. We're talking about etymology here. If you're going to deal with etymology, most etymological roots will trace themselves all the way up into this language. For example, like Asa. Asa, in most cases, they define as something powerful, right? One of being a power. But if you take that name Asa, it also comes into Usert. Now, Usert can come all the way into the English as assert, where one assert themselves in power, right? That's etymology right? Now, in the case with the concept of him speaking of Kemet, you can't find Kemet in this. We're not talking about somebody's description of the word Kemet. No problem with that. We are saying we want to see a black people. We want to see a black nation with a black flag existing in that time by tracing it through the root B, L, C, and K. Because I removed the vowel A to deal with the etymology. Because if I were to do the same thing with the word more, I could trace it from the English all the way back to Amun-Ra. You see what I'm saying? In Kemet, without any definition or nothing, just the M and the R. Also to the name of Kemet, because the name of Kemet is called Tamera, Amera. You see? So the M and R go all the way back there. So my only contention with Smash is that he's referring to this as a people. You know, we ain't attacking the word black because we know our people understand that. We're not attacking people calling themselves that, but that is a description and not a place or people or a nation. What do you have to say to that, Smash?
First thing I did was chuckle, but out of respect, I tried to hold my cheeks down because you're learning. You cited, first of all, you did a bunch of what we call folk etymology. Look that up. Folk etymology is when cats think they're doing etymology, but they just, matter of fact, you might think I made that up. So let's go. Beat you hard. Look, here we go.
What do folk mean?
Hold on. Folk etymology, a popular but mistaken account of an origin of the word or a phrase. Okay? And so let me explain how I was chuckling, but it really don't do nothing. You asked me to show you, first of all, trace etymological roots forward. You actually do etymology in retrograde. You don't go back to ancient Egypt and then come up to a modern day word, but you could indeed find cognates that last over that time. We want to see what modern terms mean. We go backwards, okay? And so when we want to see what the modern term black means, we go backwards and we'll be stopped at an Indo-European root at about 1600 or something, okay? But that doesn't mean the color or the meaning of blackness wasn't used in other languages that are not Indo-European. So that means the root and all of that is going to change. We won't be looking for the BLK anymore.
Okay, Brother Jay.
Yep.
I want to stop right there. Can you hear what I just asked that brother in the question?
I think I heard it, but he kind of started to go on for a little bit, so I was following his trajectory. You can remind me though.
Yeah, I basically asked him, to trace the word black, meaning by its root, taking the vowels out, because when you deal with etymology, you trace something back to its root. And I told him to trace that back, into an ancient time that go beyond the English language. You see? And he just said that you can't trace it no more than to the 1600s, right? So that basically caps the word black off during, probably about 500 years ago.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? As far as dealing with, the language is concerned. So we know that the word Kemet has been described as black land. We both agree with that. But the problem is we both also agree that there's no place in the book where Kemet is referred to as a black people. And so I was trying to show this brother that we get words by definition all the time. But that word by definition ain't got nothing to do with tracing the word itself back to the etymological root. That's just the definition somebody give the word Kemet. You see what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that the ancient Egyptians meant that when they said Kemet, because that word come way back from the old kingdom of ancient Egypt when the English language didn't exist. So it would be crazy to say that they say it meant black. No, that's what we describe it as today, right or wrong.
My bad. Man, I think we need a debate for this one, man. This is a great discussion, great topic.
It's
I
supposed to
kind
be
of
one.
see
It's supposed
I
to be
see
one.
where both of you are coming from with it. I see where he's coming from, and I see where you are coming from.
I see where he trying to come from too. But the thing is, he don't want to see where I'm coming from. You understand where I'm coming from? He want where he coming from to cancel out what I'm saying. You see? I'm not looking at him from that aspect to try to cancel out what he's saying. He want to cancel out what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? So it's like I'm looking at it both ways and he looking at it one way.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's the difference. So we get the argument, but being honest, bro, in all honesty, the English language did not exist during 5,000 years ago. You see what I'm saying? So it would be wrong to say that the Egyptians meant that, because you don't know what the Egyptians meant. You understand? That's what I'm pointing out.
This is a great topic, man. Yeah, I got to hear more.
Right,
I got to hear more of this. This is good.
Right. And I'm going to let it go on. So you got to admit that the Egyptians didn't know nothing about the English language because it didn't exist. You see what I'm saying? So if the English language didn't exist, then the Egyptians couldn't have meant what we saying it means today because that word didn't exist. That's like your dead ancestor, right? Somebody that you don't know in the past, but they're in your ancestral lineage. You saying that they said something in this era and time that you saying now. Can you really prove that when they are not here, when you don't really know who they are? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's crazy.
Right.
And it's the same way we go vice versa.
Okay, help me understand. Help me understand. I
Go
mean,
ahead.
I'm
Mhm.
somewhere where I just need a little bit more understanding. Are
Okay.
we contending? We're not contending whether they use the word black, right? They did use the word black. Are we contending that?
No, we're not contending them using the word black. What I'm saying is this. Both of us agree, me and him agree, that the ancient Egyptians didn't use the words. Well, we basically, when he say black land, the way the Egyptian Egyptologists chose to translate it, me and him both agree, that it has never been mentioned a black people in Egypt. You're gonna hear him say it. You see what I'm saying? And if we both agree that there's no such thing as a black people, being spoken of in Egypt, but you're using that now, no problem if that's what you're trying to do. But there's no real nation called a black people that have a black flag, black nation. They are called by these particular things, is what I'm getting at. In the ancient time, because the word didn't exist, the nation didn't exist. So I was trying to show them how more attach you to the land as opposed to the word black. You see, and we have to realize one time we were called Negro before we were called black. And all these titles that we have were given to us by the European. You understand? So that remove our
Mm-hmm.
tribal name from us,
Mm-hmm.
or the name that really refer to who we are as a people. People in Africa, for example, right? Those people that are in Africa, they are not called black people, they called Africans. And then they have tribes, right? They have the Congo, they have the Niger. If you ask them what their nationality is, they're going to say, I'm Nigerian. They're going to say,
Right.
I'm Mauritanian. You
Right.
understand? They ain't going to say I'm black. You understand me? So black was used as a description, and that is not even properly given because our
Right.
people, when it comes to the complexion, is not black. Just like Europeans ain't white according to the colors.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So there's neither here nor there the argument about that, But my main thing is he agreed with me that the Egyptian Egyptologists, so to speak, not ancient Egyptian, he agreed that they describe Kemet as black land. I agree they describe it as black land, but they don't describe Kemet as black people. He agreed that it don't describe Kemet as black people, right? So we really shouldn't have to have a conversation on this if we both agreeing upon the same thing, right? Right?
Okay. Yep.
But I'm gonna show you what happened. I want to make sure you hear, what is being asked again. I want to make sure you hear what's being asked again, and
All
just
right.
pay close attention to what's being said. And then I go into what I'm gonna go into. Oh, right. That's etymology, right? Now, in the case with the concept of him speaking of Kemet, you can't find Kemet in this. We're not talking about somebody's description of the word Kemet. No problem with that. We are saying we want to see a black people. We want to see a black nation with a black flag existing in that time by tracing it through the root B, L, C, and K. Because I removed the vowel A to deal with the etymology. Because if I were to do the same thing with the word more, I could trace it from the English all the way back to and Ra. You see what I'm saying? In Kemet, without any definition or nothing, just the M and the R. Also to the name of Kemet, South. Because the name of Kemet is called Tamera, or Mary, or Mera. You see? So the M and R go all the way back there. So my only contention with Smash is that he's referring to this as a people. You know, we ain't attacking the word black because we know our people understand that. We're not attacking people calling themselves that, but that is a description and not a place or people or a nation. What do you have to say to that, Smash?
First thing I did was chuckle, but out of respect, I tried to hold my cheeks down because you're learning. You cited, first of all, you did a bunch of what we call folk etymology. Look that up. Folk etymology is when cats think they doing etymology, but they just, matter of fact, you might think I made that up. So let's go.
He's dancing now.
What does folk mean? Hold on. Folk etymology, a popular but mistaken account of an origin of the word or a phrase. Okay? And so let me explain how I was chuckling, but it really don't do nothing. You asked me to show you, first of all, trace etymological roots forward. You actually do etymology in retrograde. You don't go back to ancient Egypt and then come up to a modern day word, but you could indeed find cognates that last over that time. We want to see what modern terms mean. We go backwards, okay? And so when we want to see what the modern term black means, we go backwards and we'll be stopped at an Indo-European root at about 1600 or something, okay? But that doesn't mean the color or the meaning of blackness wasn't used in other languages that are not Indo-European. So that means the root and all of that is going to change. We won't be looking for the BLK anymore. We're going to go into other languages like, say, the Hebrew. If you want to see how you say black in Hebrew, the BLK will then be irrelevant because that language is not Indo-European either. So when they're doing etymology, they go from one old language to an older one and to an older one till we arrive back at the oldest language. Now, we do find Kemet, meaning black, tracing through Arabic language where we get alchemy from, or the darker magics, or even at the root of your word chem in chemistry. So I don't even disagree with you, Commission, on the statement of it don't mean a black people. I'm inconclusive on that, and I want that to note, but that ain't never my argument. When I showed the instances of people who had black on their names, I was trying to be specific that these were individuals. It wasn't used as a group name or not used like we just all say we black. Nope. But I just showed individuals who took their time out to put the descriptor known to mean the darker hue. If we don't want to say black, it meant the darker hue to them. And honestly, just to keep it real, it could be used for jet black, but it also could just be used as the darker of two shades, meaning that if one dude was really light skinned and the second dude was a little bit darker, he'd be the one that was called Kim. And we got two brothers that give us that.
There we go right there. Now, I just want to stop right there. He said the lighter basically wouldn't be called Kim. The darker would be called Kim. So if this is referring to our people as a whole, does this mean that everybody wasn't considered dark skinned? It was Kemetic if you're trying to apply that to people?
Yeah, I don't think the answer you gave was very clear.
That don't make
and he admitted that he agreed with you, so I think you wanted something.
Right. You see now, he gonna go way off and contradict himself in a minute now. He gonna start arguing against my stance. After
I have
saying,
a question for you.
Go ahead.
You talked about the root word mer, and then you mentioned
That's right.
Mary. Can you tell me what Ta Mary means?
You say Ta Mary? I'm actually gonna go into that once I finish this, but Ta Mary, bro, is just the full name of the ancient Kemet, basically. And they call it Pata Mary, or they call it Mera, by itself. But Pata Mary is just another way of saying Mera, and that word Mera is the name for ancient Egypt. I'm gonna show that to you in a minute. I got all that ready in my slide. Like I say, I ain't gonna listen to the whole video
Okay.
here. I'm just showing you how this go. But I'm gonna mention that here. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go into that when I come on the measure. Some of the stuff I'm finna go into in my slides, I went into it up here.
One of them is called the red, and the other.
Now he talking about the black, the light skin and the red, and everybody's called a different thing based on their color. So that would automatically exclude everybody in Kemet being considered a so-called quote unquote black people, according to what he's saying.
So we don't always all the way disagree. I just think you misunderstood what I was putting forth.
Okay, so you're not. So you're saying, okay, so in that when we use the word Kemet, this would apply to a darker person, but not somebody of a brighter hue, basically.
Okay, so Kemet is going to be, when they put that T on the end, it either could be either a woman or they're going to be talking about the place. But Kim, which is the root word, yeah, it'll often mean the darker of somebody. Even Ptolemy called himself.
So you see this right here. I had him clarify that, right? You see? You there, Brother Jay? Let's see, is our brother still on, or did he? Oh yeah, I think he might have stepped off. Okay, let me see who this is. We got some people out here in the area. It says the question should be asked, why is it called Black Land? Why did the people of Kemet call it Kemet? Did they disseminate that information? And let me, what's going on with your brother Ray Sean Irvin? Peace and love, family. And let me respond to you, whoever that is that's speaking there. Yeah, let me give that to you, family. Where you say the question should be asked, why is it called Black Land? The key is we already know why they call it Black Land. Me and him both agree upon why it is, because the Egyptologists called it that. But the question that I was getting to with Smash is, how do you trace this word black in root back to Egypt? BLCK, etymologically. He said 1600, right? It's what the brother said. It only caps off at 1600, which I knew that before I asked him. So if I asked him, that question, and he know it stops at 1600 because the English language didn't exist back then, I asked then again the question, how can you say that the ancient Egyptians said the word means black? And then he just said the word black only applies to darker skinned people. You see what I'm saying? So if that's the case, everybody else that's of a lighter hue, or what he's saying red, that's what he's getting ready to go into, they are not considered of Kim. You see? This is what he's saying. My approach is the word black didn't exist back then. You see what I'm saying? The word more, when you go to its etymological root, it is consistent in the language of ancient Kemet. I'm going to demonstrate that in a minute. But I just want to make this plain right here. So, yeah, we don't go into the measure as far as dealing with trying to go backwards with the word more. What we are saying is that the word more derives from the root, M and R, that can be traced all the way back to Amun Ra. And I'm going to prove that in a minute. You see? And I proved it many times. I done spoke on it many times. But you cannot trace again. I'm going to say this again. The word black cannot be traced etymologically back into any ancient text. You ain't going to find no BL. There you go, Noble Brian. That's the problem. The brother cannot admit. He think that one is attacking that. But I would think it would be more of an attack, Noble Brian, for him to say that that word can only be applied to people of a darker hue. Because that means that all of our other people of a lighter hue, then they wouldn't be considered Kim if he trying to apply that in that particular way. You know, and now I feel that is a racist connotation, just like what I'm finna show y'all in a minute. John Blumenbeck did when he created the black man, the Caucasian, the Mongoloid, and the white. You know, when he went into all of that, a European did that. You know, that was scientific racism, basically. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I'm trying to get this guy to see. You know, and you cannot trace it back. And you can't say that the Egyptians taught this, because this is 5,000 years ago, 7,000, probably 10,000 years ago. The word black didn't exist then. It don't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. This is not going at our people for calling themselves black. We're just trying to get them to see, you know, what we have accepted, as opposed to what is a name that actually attach us to a land. And I'm gonna get into that in a minute. So watch this. It's gonna get good. We're gonna let y'all see everything. We don't edit nothing. Hold up. Is my screen still showing, brother?
Yep.
Brother Jay?
Yep.
Okay, it's still sharing. Because y'all got to see this, y'all got to get it.
Kim, he wasn't saying he jet black like a Nubian. He was just saying he was representing a darker hue. So we had a hue called red, and then burgundy was next to it. Burgundy would be Kim. You see what I mean? So it's just the darker one in some instances.
Okay, so we both agree then it's not necessarily referring to, when you hear Kemet, black people, but people later translated this as that.
Now the brother Netanyahu is the brother that you want to talk to. He has the information on that. I got the sources on what I saw, but he got some sources that'll show that they was actually using Kemet as a group of people. That just ain't my research field. So
that's who you need to sit down.
Okay, he just said it ain't his research field, Jay. Now watch he end up contending after he admitted that this is not his research field. He just talked about another brother. He talking about you should talk to him. But watch this now.
On that topic, Commission.
Yeah, Netanyahu.
Okay, so what I would say is this, you know, because I'm seeing that you're not coming to say that, and this is what I want to say here. Like I said, when you're dealing with etymology, and you refer to it as folk etymology, you know, and I ain't gonna really go at that particular measure. Etymology is always doing with being able to trace words back to their root. The reason why we got to emphasize this, because this is how I do most of my research, through etymology. Because through etymology, you can trace a language back to a people, and also you can trace it back to the archaeology as well. So in reference to that, I just would like to say this, you know, and if Saul would allow me just for a second to share the screen, I want to show you this right here, family. You know, because it's some things we want to make clear. We don't want you to be able to get up out of there. Can you see that, Sarnetta?
Hey, Magi, is it all right to show a screen?
Right, yeah. Am I all right?
I know
appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, he can 100% have the floor. I want to see what the brother wants to demonstrate.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, brother. And I ain't going to be long. I just want to give this to you just briefly. I'm going to speed through this. You know, if you can see here in basic definition, the study of the origin of words and the way in which their meanings have changed throughout history is what etymology is, right? And that's what I want to demonstrate here briefly. Now, I can go even into, you know, the Piscean records, but I won't go there. Only just to say of the root of the word Amen, you know, that was adopted even in biblical, right? It can be traced back to ancient Kemet. We know that. This is it right here. Near is the word that this particular text utilizes. Amen is here, right? This is referring to a temple, right? Now, the key is this European here came up with the categorizations of different colors or colorism. It was John Blumenbeck, not the Arabs, who began to call us black people, white people, and all of that. In line with what I said earlier, the word mirror is translated as the land or the name of ancient Egypt. Mirror, right? Sometimes called Patamil, right? So now here are the times that M and R has been used throughout Kenya, all the way to the New Kingdom, right? I ain't got to go. Okay, so you see that I just said everything I talked about when you was asking me about Tamara, right?
Yep.
And you see how I was showing him, you know, the connection of Amen in the Bible back to the temples or the pyramids, basically, in the language, right? Okay, watch this. Do all that, like I say, now here's Amen. Amen. Mar. Amen. This is the root, M and R. Now, dealing with etymology, you got to remove the vowels because you're dealing with the consonants. When you remove that, you see M and R. This is very key. We just showed you that, so we don't have to go there. I'm going to show you another cognate. This is Hebrew. Amen was said to be the God of light, hidden light. Actually, Ra, Amen Ra, it manifests. So the word M-A-O-R is interchangeable with M-A-U-R, which means a luminary. It even goes so far as to say a light being right here, a light bearer, a light being. That's right in line, the sun. That's going straight back to Kemet, right? But then we find the root of this word. Okay, so now you see what I just did with the etymology. I just showed him in Hebrew language the word that corresponds to the Kemetic language. You see?
Mm-hmm.
And Amen again means the God of light. Amen Ra, the hidden light that become manifest is Ra, right? So when you go into the Hebrew, you can see, even though they just say luminary and they say a light being, and then they say the sun, you can see, though they give the definition the way they do, it's still connected to the ancient Egyptian word that is older, correct?
All right.
Because the M-A-U-R again is interchangeable with M-A-O-R, because U and O are interchangeable when it comes to the vowel system. So you can actually see that the word Mar, goes straight back to Kemet, basically. And it pretty much means the same thing. If you were to look at it up in Kemet, it's going to tell you the sun, Amen, Amen Ra, it's going to go into all of that. So that's how you deal with etymology. Watch this. Mar not only meaning Amen, but the priest, high priest, is where we clash in, brother Smash. But here it comes into Mari, the Moorish god. This is the true origin of the name Moor. A lot of people don't know. They never heard this. We were referred to as Moorish gods. And the Arabs didn't want to call us that because they was worshiping one God. And to be calling us Moorish gods would have went against their basically monotheism. You see? So basically we were more God than me. I'm showing you etymology is what I'm doing. You said that this word wasn't applied to dealing with the cattle. Well, here, Mir is referred to as the oldest bull deity of Kemet. Sometimes they like to call him a black bull in the European interpretation, right? But look, Kemir, Mar, and Moor. I'm showing you the connection that also Mari or the Moors had a veneration of the bull through Amen. And I'm actually almost done here. So dealing with this, my confirmation, this is just a definition. Ham, the remaining son of Noah, had 4 sons: Cush, the father of Nimrod, progenitor of the Babylonians, Mizraim, who peopled Egypt and northern parts of Africa, Put, who is the ancestor of the Moors, right? All this is in line with my etymology. The oldest man that has been found recently in the Iberian region, in what they would call Morocco or Mauritania, brother Snames, is known as Jabir Uhu, of the Ibero-Mauritanian people. So you see how this name is being consistent at different periods of time. Even Abraham Lincoln made the difference between a Moor and a regular person that's called by black or any other color. This is my evidence in right here in the European's own statement. And this is coming from, listen to what it says, genealogy trails. This is Negro law, where it says the term Negro is confined to slave Africans, the ancient Berbers, which is also a misnomer, and their descendants. It does not embrace the free inhabitants of Africa, such as the Egyptians, Moors, and Negro Asiatics such as the Lascars. Stop right there.
That was clear.
That
was clear as day.
You know what I mean? And I'm showing in different sources how this Moor is present everywhere. The root of it, the M&R. And this is coming from the 1740 Negro Acts, brother. That were basically written by the European when they was trying to classify who was slaves and who wasn't slaves. And you notice it used the term here, It does not embrace free inhabitants of Africa, such as Egyptian Moors or Negro Asiatics. In other words,
Right.
these people weren't considered slaves to them.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
They're
That's
of a
what.
different class.
Right. There you go. And
Okay,
so,
clear. Yep.
right. And this is in United States history. And you see it at one I was showing you where Abraham Lincoln actually corrected, the judge, and told him, no, Your Honor, he is a Moor and not a Negro. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Right. So
So that coincides with this. Go ahead, brother.
the issue that people have is thinking they're not understanding that black, white, mulatto are classifications.
Classifications and descriptions, brother. And they taking
Right.
that as a nationality, and they think when you trying to tell them, we like, no, brother, ain't nobody got a problem with your description, but we're saying the nationality attach you to a land.
Yes.
Where your black flag at, bro? Since you're a black nation, where's that? Outside of a roach can now. I'm just saying. I
And
ain't
you
seen no
showed through the etymology of black, it's going to take you back to Europe. I forget the guy who you said originated it.
John
And that will
Blumenbach.
basically, yes, and that will basically tell you what it means. The guy who
Exactly.
originated it and where it came from will tell you exactly what you're saying. Okay, I get what you're saying, bro. I got you.
Exactly. And that's what I'm trying to get this guy to see. And now we got our people running around calling themselves African descendants of slaves. This is a new term they just adopted like about 2-3 years ago. So they adopt all these terms right here, brother Jay, but look over the very term that attached them to the land. Most people go and look up their Native American heritage, right? Because they want to try to get the quirks and the kickbacks and whatever based on Native American. And some people want to know who they are too. But most people will go and try to be their Native American heritage, right? We done seen people do it. But we showing them a name that attached them to the land as the owner, brother. And they going straight in opposition to it. This is literally the key to freeing our people. And they think this is just some religiosity. You see how, that's why I say some of our people are not as literate, brother, as they claim to be. And we don't say this to be mean. We're saying, if you know something will free you, why will you hold on to something that enslaved you?
Now, can you clarify when you say this is the key to freedom, the key to freedom from what exactly are you saying?
The key to freedom, because prime example, most people that's considered Native Americans, right? Being that they are considered that and they are recognized internationally as that, they can
Yep.
claim particular portions of land and they can rule themselves as a nation, right?
Yep.
So the same measure has to do with the word more, but on a greater scale, because now Native American measures are still subject to the European because they under corporate governance. They have what you call a federal charter. So that means they govern by the United States.
Right.
Unlike being more, meaning we were the original owners of the land, but they ain't gonna tell you that, of course. They barely want to tell the Native Americans that they Native Americans. They ain't the real Native Americans. They actually are the ones who are the placeholders, that are keeping the real natives, our indigenous people, which is us, from being able to claim this. Because they created a whole new set of group of people which look just like them and called them Native Americans. You see what I'm saying? Then say we got to have one drop of their blood in order to be recognized as Native American. You see? When they had so-called black Seminoles and Negro Seminoles, they told them they had to take them out of their roles if they wanted to get, this so-called freedom as a nation. They had to do that. They had to remove anybody that was of a dark hue, even though we were the original Seminoles. I'm saying? So now you have people claiming they are native and they just placeholding to keep the true natives from claiming that. But the name more could be a remedy to all of that because it attaches us to this land indigenously. You see what I'm saying? They just said it right here. You know what I mean? They admitted to it right here, right? What I got on the screen. You know what I mean? So another thing, when you hear reservation, what is a reservation, my brother? When you go in to rent a room at a hotel, what's the purpose of a reservation?
It gives you claim over the space to occupy it.
That's right. Until you get there, right?
Right.
It's reserved for you, right? All
That's right.
rights reserved for you. So it's the same thing. When they have an Indian reservation, that reservation is there for those who have laid claim to the space, but they are not the true natives. You see what I'm saying? We are the true natives. When I say they, I'm talking about the people that are Eurocentric that are claiming this, you know, and then they pushing all the Asiatic or the Moorish people out of that category. You see what I'm saying? Now there is a group of Moors that has been accepted, but they even tried to slide some Europeans up in there too. You know, I'm talking about the Lenape and the Nanticokes. You know what I mean? The Delaware Moors. You know, they actually acknowledge, you know, them as being more, but you got some European that tried to go up in there too. Anything Native American, you know, a lot of them try to go up into. Like, I know for a fact my grandmother was from a Cherokee tribe. You know, her name was Pocahontas. You know what I mean? And so I never tried to go that particular way because that's still under corporate governance. It's just like a religious corporation. A religious corporation is still under corporate America. So that's not a nation. You can call yourself the nation of this and the nation of that as a religious organization, but you're not a real nation. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Yep.
And so if you stay content in that state, talking about you a nation and you just a religious corporation, are you under these different things, then taking our people down that path and not truly ever striving to be a nation, you will always be subject to another man's jurisdiction.
Right.
You see?
So I guess when we look at the video title to that Sonetter episode, what exactly was the title of that commission? Was it Black Kemet Egypt? Black
Yeah,
Kemet?
that's what he's saying. That's exactly what he's saying. He's saying
Okay,
Black
so
Kemet
that
Egypt.
wouldn't even make sense
It
if
wouldn't
he's
make
talking
sense.
about, okay,
There you go. Now you see what I'm saying. Why not just call it what it is? Kemet.
right,
You see what I'm saying? Why not just call it Kemet?
right. He's trying to transpose a meaning or a word that wasn't even a word, and that the people, like, they probably wouldn't even agree with it themselves, right? Because
That's what
they
I'm
didn't
talking about.
originate that word with that meaning. Like, it
That's
has a whole different context.
That's exactly what I'm getting at. And in fact, they'll tell you that most of the way that we look at the way these things were supposed to be so-called deciphered or translated, the ancient Egyptians wouldn't know what in the world they was talking about. Because the methods they used, the Egyptians didn't use that method. That came from the Ptolemies. You see what I'm saying? The Romans and the
Mm.
Greeks. I'm getting ready to have a discussion on that tomorrow with a brother that want to challenge me on that. You know what I
So
mean?
basically, you can make claim that the lens that the Magi is looking through is a Eurocentric lens.
That's exact, and that's what I've been telling him, and that's what he don't like. Oh, we had some more situations outside of this one, you know, and I'll probably touch on it in a second because I got clips of it to show you how much. Because he been attacking me for the last 2-3 weeks. I don't know this brother, you know, never really sat down and built with him or none of that right there. But he been attacking me longer than that, like indirectly. But like this last couple of weeks, he been attacking, you know, me based upon Metal Netta, you know, and I showed him that he can't read, you know, the true language of the Egyptians. And I think that's what spawned him out of control, because what brought him out is me using it, showing the history of the word more. And once I showed that history and showed that it traced back to Amen, he came out of the woodworks. First time I ever heard him say it. Oh, that word don't trace, which he gonna demonstrate that on here. But he's basically being disingenuous with the audience, and he's really being disrespectful to the audience because he's trying to filibuster and basically play on their not knowing, what we're talking about, to just get an upper hand to try to say, oh, I overcame Commission. That's what his whole goal. His goal is not to help you understand. His goal is to say he got superior understanding. You know what I mean? He need to be teaching me. I need to be studying up. You know what I mean? That's his approach. You see? And so you'll see it, and he gonna get real upset in a minute. Watch this. This is what the Europeans said in their own law, right over here in America about it. It's still there. So these are your Mauritanians who are still being enslaved now. Reggie like to say it was the Arab that were Moors that enslaved our people, but it was actually the Arabs that enslaved the Mauritania or the Maori people. So our people are still slaves, and this is how they look today. You can see the intermixing and everything in it. But I'm showing you the consistency between the people, the language, and the land, and everything. Can you do the same thing with black? And this is my last little small portion right here. Like I say, I want to fly through this. I want to take up time because I got to bring somebody else on. It says, and this is dealing with the European John Blumenbach. And this is coming from the African Fact Book for our people who would like to know. This is from Africa. They put this together. So it says here, dealing with, it said, unsurprisingly, these European categories place the European white race on top of the human file. The European race was not only assigned, it says, the best of human characteristics, it was also elevated to the apex of the human civilization. For instance, Blumenbach, which is John Blumenbach, who I showed you that invented this Negro light colored and all this type of stuff. He allotted the first place on the human ladder, to the Caucasian race, by contending that this stock displays the most handsome features. And he wrote, they have the kind of appearance which, according to our opinion of symmetry, we consider the most handsome of the comings. And so he was the one that came up with this concept family of Caucasian white race. He lumped into the European nations, Western Asia, the Mongolian or the yellow race occupying the Tatarea. And then you have China, Japan, etc., Ethiopian or black race. And this is the problem that we have when we identify something according to the color code or an adjective. We know what our people mean by it, but the name Moor, for example, attach you to this land as a native. And if our people embrace that as a whole, brother, we can take this whole country into our possession. You can't do that with the word black, because the word black is not something that attaches us to the man. It's not shooting at the word or tearing the word down. We are saying if we proclaim the word that attaches us to the man as indigenous, man, we'll take this whole country. And that's the importance of the word more. Not dealing with religion or none of that. I just wanted to say that, brother. And I'm going to stop right there. Okay, right, so I made myself, brother.
Let me ask you a question.
I made myself clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now ask JJ1.
Yes,
let me get to you.
Yes, sir.
What is the secret relationship between the Moors and Queen Elizabeth?
Oh, that's powerful there, son.
I know it is. I know.
I like that. And I'm going to be honest with you, son, because some people even depicted that Queen Elizabeth was supposed to be, Moorish descent. Most of them are. Because you got to remember, the Moors were pretty much the masters over there in that land. And we can see it by the presence of all the statues of us being there. And we just were cast out them in 1492 with the Hebrew that was there, as they call them Moorish Jews, the Philocious, the Sephardic. So when you go into that history right there, that's the connection. She wanted our children, basically. They be a little hard-headed, and what we would call somebody a deviant. Some people might not like that.
So
you know what I mean? But I'm just really joking. But nevertheless, she definitely descended from our people through a long line. Because most of the kings over there were Moors in the beginning.
Okay. Let me let Smash in.
I want to stop right there. You heard what I just said in reference to the Queen Elizabeth measure, right?
Yes, I did.
Now watch this. I'm gonna go into a drawing from my I'm finna show you something very powerful, brother. I'm gonna go there because I mentioned it. If you ever get a chance, get the book Ancient and Modern Britons, right? And it's a
Okay.
story with a European telling you everything about, who they ancestors were, basically. You know what I mean? Where they come from. But I got some excerpt. You can actually find the PDF too online. You can download it. Let me show it to you because I got some clippings out of it right here. I got so much in my computer, man. I told you I'd be bogging it down. But I'm finna show you a clipping I got in here that speaks on the races and so forth and so on. Come on now.
Okay, real quick. I think JJ may have been trying to get in earlier. I don't know if you saw him.
No, I didn't. Yeah, you should have told me, right then. But if he's still there, I can get him in here. Yeah. If you out there, JJ, and you see me, we're gonna try to get you back in here, bro. Brother just told me you was in here. I can't see you while I'm sharing the screen. I'm on the other side of it. Just come back up here and I'll get you in here.
Yeah, I just didn't want to cut in between your build. That's
Oh
why I
yeah.
didn't say anything.
Yeah, you all right. You could have you were good, but it's all good, no problem. I think our brother will come back if he heard me speaking. I want to make sure you see this demonstration here though. This is very powerful measure here, my brother. And very important for our people out here to get this since we here. Okay, this is from Ancient and Modern Britons right here, right? Notice, as you can see clipped out right here, it even mentioned what they call the white Khazars. And that's really talking about those who are Jews, who claim to be Jews, as they say, those who say that they are Jews or not. The book of Revelation say that, right? That's basically what they are. But listen to what they say in Ancient and Modern Britain. It says, now before going further, it is necessary to look into this last statement pretty closely. For the origin of this nomenclature may be found to lie very deep. I find it stated elsewhere that the Tartarian tribes are very fond of expressing by colors the changes of political condition. That's key. They explain by certain colors political condition, right? To which a nation may be subjected. Black or kara has the meaning of dependency and servitude, while white or ak has that of sovereignty and freedom. So now you see why they brought that when they came from Europe. You see, because they're saying that the white represent them as free, and then everybody else was in servitude. Now watch what they say though. They say, but these colors are employed only so long as they really describe the position of a tribe. For if a dependent horde becomes independent and sovereign, that form of kara or black will be changed into white. So basically, it didn't matter who you was. If you was the ones that was on top and you became a dependent people, you was considered white, even if you was of another hue. You see what I'm saying? That's why
Oh no,
prophet.
I see what you're saying.
Oh yeah, and this is how they carried it. You know what I mean? That's why they call
It
themselves white. Go
it
ahead,
could
brother.
be compared to, there's a author named Isabel Wilkerson, I believe is her last name. She has a book called Caste, and she makes the argument that our system in America is very similar to the caste system in India, where you are subjected to a certain role based off of the classification that they give you.
Exactly. And that's the problem. Now it says the Tartars, to whom the mighty conqueror Chinggis Khan belonged to, were named before his time Kara Tartars. It says while another tribe was called Op Tartars, white Tartars. He said this is also the reason why the emperor of Russia is called White Tsar, and the divisions of Russia into white and black expresses the same meaning. But this custom is not confined to Asia and east of Europe. You see, it said it obtains or did obtain in Britain as well. And it goes on to explain, how this thing was being taught in all these different areas, right? Now, That's letting you know the words black represent descriptions that are based on your status, in society. That's why you hear some more say, I'm a free white person. They ain't talking about being a European or trying to be like the European. They understand that the word had to do with status. They're just trying to show that they're intellectually inclined. You know what I mean? But Prophet Noble Drew Ali said in the questionnaire, white mean purity. Purity mean God. God mean the ruler of the land. He was not talking about a white man. In Africa, if you go and study the Orishas, and they talk about Obatala, who was the deity. Obatala is said to be the white or the pure one. In Africa, you will find traditions where the term white was always referred to in relation dealing with our people, but it was dealing with the spiritual status. You see what I'm saying? And that's where Prophet Noble Drew Ali was coming from. But he also understood the European took that name for himself to call himself the God and the ruler of the land, even though we were the true God, man, and God, woman, and ruler of the land, brothers and sisters. You feel me? So, when it come down to dealing with that, that's where the conflict come in at. But also in this book, he went into the history of telling who the original people in the world was. He talked about the Iberians. You heard me talk about the Ibero-Mauritian earlier as the oldest man that they found, 350,000 years old. But it says, and Jaber Uhud is his name. It says the Iberians are styled swarthy. Swarthy is another name for what they like to call dark or sometimes translate black, right? But it says curly haired, word swarthy is rather elastic. It says, although literally swartz, yet it's taken fancy to mean something not quite so dark as the color of a Negro. It says it is usually accepted, usual exception. It says perhaps this distinction does not exist. At any rate, if the small, dark Highlander and black Celt to the west of Shannon be assumed to be the descendants of the Iberians, it may fairly be argued that with so much intermixture with fair races during the last 2,000 years, the stock must now be a lighter skin. Then, in representatives of the first century, must have been actually as black as Negroes. So you see what he's saying? Now, these words apply because he's talking about the English language. He's dealing with stuff that came after that. It don't apply in the race aspect of being who he is. We don't accept that. But we know what he's trying to describe, the description, right, Brother Jay? So when you look at all of this right here, this particular measure is where they are saying that the original people that was in that area was basically our people. In this book, Ancient and Modern Britons. And it also goes so far. This is what really, bring this demonstration to a grand drawing. It says Lemony Prairie gives several nations bearing the names beginning with Moor. He says the Moor or Morensis in India, or the Maruni in that country, also the Marini, a people of Belgic Gaul on the shores of the British Ocean, are examples. The Mari of Mauritania are perhaps the most notable examples of a nation bearing this name, though in slightly altered shape. The consideration of this word and of the localization of races thus named is not irrelevant at this point. It says, for although it may not be easy to trace their root hither, and it says the date of their arrival, a branch of this family did inhabit Britain. It says, and are not only known as Mari and Moors, but also Moravincians and Morencians, and identical with the name of those in India, Morimen, people of Moray and Morivia. Morivia, this name was given to two districts in Scotland, and one the most important in the north and central, and the others in the southern portion of the country, that the Picts, known to the Romans as the Mari, were finally divided into two sections. Inhabiting these localities is speaking fact which is well to remember at this junction. Now, the name Moravienses actually deal with Moravians. This is why Sarnetta was asking me about the queen and her connection to the Moors, because the Moors were the ones who basically civilized Europe. And many ancient kings that was in that particular area of the nations of Britain and France and Spain, they were actually kings that were our people, and so that's why I was responding to him the way I did. Now watch what I show you here. Okay, let's see this here. This is just to show what I'm saying here. You know what I mean? Now these are all depictions of the Moors in Spain. I don't even want to just deal with the paintings alone, because these are old paintings that's actually over there. I want to show you actual statues and busts, as you already seen already, my brother. You seen this stuff. Most of our people seen this stuff. A lot of these old pictures of the Moors right here. All this is in Europe and Spain. You know what I mean? This is their artwork over there. You see the European kneeling to the Moors, right? And it's just all over the place. That's the heraldry dealing with the Moors over there. Like all of this is what the Europeans see, when they go around the world. We talked about this before. Here we go right here. This is an actual stallion. They were using this term, blackamoor. This is the way they call it, in certain times as these words begin to be created, later on. This is our people over there. So it ain't strange when they say, oh, well, Queen Elizabeth come from the Moors. Of course, the Moors was the one that was over there ruling. Look at our people. You wonder what a lot of the people that, unfortunately, they like to demonstrate themselves as pimps. You wonder where they get the glass and the hat and all that right there from. Some of them may not know it, some of them may know that, but I think sometimes our true ancestry be trying to wake up in us, but we don't know it, and that ain't to promote pimping. I'm just showing some examples, on how these things are. I mean, we can go on and on with it, family, if I were to just go through all these pictures and just show you different expressions of the Moors. We were running things. We did it for 700 years. You know what I mean? And I mean, every time you go there, you see us there, and we basically on top. Look at all this here. The European was serving us at one time. We taught them literally how to wash their behinds. And we don't say that in a way to be condescending or disrespectful. We just telling the truth. The truth is the only thing that'll make us free. Boy, I tell you, every time I see a new picture or something, it seems like we see people, our ancestors coming back. I got one of these pictures. It looked like the brother Nipsey Hussle. This one right here looked like the young brother from down here in Florida, Kodak Black. Goodness gracious. Oh, man. But nevertheless, yeah, family. I mean, I really don't have to continue to go on, but I'm just confirming what was read from the book a few minutes ago. So we know who the original people were. You know what I mean? So, hold up, let me stop. I see our brother dropped off. That's why he didn't respond. So, yeah, to my audience out there. And I agree with you, my brother Noble Bryan. Our brother say, so we brought men into eating out of dry clay mud, which was wrote from black mud. That's right, Malik Bey. Shalom to our brother Judah. Yeah, everybody that's out there watching, we gonna get into everything in a minute to expose exactly where we coming from in our premise, because we want to put this demonstration to bed and not have to really deal with it again. You know, because it's ridiculous for me to have to keep going over the same thing over and over again. So, okay, let me pull this up real quick. And I hope our brother returned. He may have had something to do, but I'm getting ready to expose this brother in a minute. Smash.
I had to respond to what you had up. Go ahead, brother Smash.
Yeah, and so that was just a good illustration of one of the problems we have when we, I don't know, man, but you just got a few things wrong with the etymology. I told you directly before the error you were making on the slides you put up with Amen, and you said it said he was a Moor. That exactly is 100% incorrect. I showed you how it was 100% correct, but you still got it in your slides. So now I'm gonna show everybody again, so we can see exactly. I wrote a document in 2012 called "When Shalom Was Stated by the Cowrie Man: How E.A. Wallace Budge is not a good source for neophytes." And it was it had a shock value title, but when you read it, you could actually see some of the illustrations. Some of the errors ones make by using Budge. And so you got this on the screen. I don't know how it's relevant.
I don't see anything. I see anything.
I see on the screen the Queen. You want
to?
No. Yeah, I don't see that either.
Yeah, I'm waiting on you.
I was seeing the Queen on the screen for some reason.
No, I was showing her with the Moors.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. And so he had a slide up illustrating that not only does he not know how to do etymology, but he also don't even read the dictionaries to learn how to read them. And so apparently when he had this word, see, I don't really have to trip. You can put it back up on your slide and you're going to learn that the word that you're saying means Amen actually means to write. Hey,
Shana, can I go next?
Or a book.
Hold on. Yes, no, don't interrupt. We want to see if Nepal want to go in first.
Oh,
No, I'm good. You can go.
All right.
Can we do the presentation without all the jabs and stabs? He don't know how to do this.
All right, you gotta let him go, brother. Please.
Hold on, cut it out, cut it out. You playing full back, and I understand you doing what you're supposed to do, blocking for your man. But let me get this out, because you see, it's nasty. This illustration is gross. I just popped the metal netcher up on the screen, and your boy tried to run full back for you, cut in and interrupt, and not let me show the people how erroneous your work is. You just told the people that this ancient Egyptian term had anything to do with Moors. It don't. And I'm gonna show the worst mistake you made is because Budge doesn't define this word. I don't even need you to put the slide back up. Budge doesn't define this word. He puts a source to it. And the source to the word is Amenemope, or let's see. So when you see Amen on there, you're telling people it means Amen, and that ain't even the definition. That's the source. So the one place they do have that word written, ma'at root, which you thought meant more, see, is the teachings of Amenemope. So the Amen you seen was short for the source, not the definition. You see how bad that is? Like, really though, if you put your slide back up on the screen, and you don't even have to, because I'm pretty sure I got Budge open right here and probably could just type the word in to expose it further. So let's go, M-A-U-R. You're gonna see how people can't even read a dictionary before they get out here teaching. So if it ain't in that version of Budge, we'll just go to the next one. And please, brother, take that slide out your presentation. M-A-R-U. That's all I asked you to do the first time. I didn't say you whack. I didn't disrespect you. I said, bro, let's study together. And that slide you got up is 100% erroneous. See how quick I just pulled this up? This is what he's trying to hide from y'all. He thought that Amen right here was the damn definition. Ain't that sad? Is this Thebian Osh the definition of this word? Dude, this is the source, and I'm gonna prove it. Amen 19:5. So Amor don't got shit to do with Amen. Nothing at all. You don't know how to read E.A. Budge's dictionary. It's why I wrote the document why E.A. Wallace Budge is not a good source for neophytes. Now, Amen 19:5. So if I go to Thesaurus Lingua Egypti, we should see similar numbers. What line is that word on? 19 and 5. The word mar don't mean no goddamn Amen. That was the source to Amen, the teachings of Amenope. Bro, you're not qualified, and this is why I won't debate you, because it'll just be looking crazy. Crazy. And that's why your boy tried to pass block for you. So shout out to JJ, because he's a real one, because he knew that would be embarrassing.
Okay.
You have the floor.
Now watch this. Let me show you something. Now, here this brother is. He's trying to basically take a definition, a new definition that comes out of a source. And I'm going to show you the source real quick. This is his source that he's using, right? This source was just developed recently. And it's not even a source coming from people over in the United States of America. It's actually coming from people in Britain who was in competition with E. Wallace Budge from the beginning. So it's quite natural, you know, a lot of those that were in competition with each other try to bring forth what they call their definition, and because they were competing on who was going to come forth with their dictionaries and everything else first. This is also a source that, just like Wikipedia, you can come in here and actually add your own entries in here. That's neither here nor there. We ain't even got to go there. You know what I mean? Because there's certain people that, like him, if he finds something that disagree with him, he will go in there and edit something. Like they tell him to contact them about the text, he would contact them and say, no, this means this and that says that, and change this to fit his narrative. And I'm going to prove that to you about this brother in a second. I'm finna show you in a few minutes of what I'm talking about. But I want to show you who his source is. Now, my position on this stuff is not to promote E. Wallace Budge or any one of these Europeans that's out here teaching, talking about they Egyptologists. My position is that all of this stuff need to be retranslated by us. And that's what I'm working on now. So all this other stuff I take with a grain of salt. You know, we put these definitions up here, and they as they are right now. You know, and at this time, like I say, I'm working on us having our own translations. And so all my definitions based upon that has to do with, which is actually coming from certain measures that deal with our ancestors. And I'm going to show you who I'm leaning on, in my opinion. I'm going to show you who he leaning on, in his opinion. This is the originator of all of this right here. See, this is what happens when you get out here playing. You know, I want to show you first the name down here. If you look down here, it tells you actually those who authored this. It say the editors, see authorship, the editors who entered individual texts into digital corpus, right, are identified by notes on authorship as a text citation, right? It says what they call a bleedly stately is displayed. It says the editing of the Lima list has been in the hands of Inglore Hoffman, right? It says it's supposed to be and Simon Switzer, which also have his dictionaries he done wrote. Also, they had Marianne Eden Cross translated the meanings of the hieroglyphs Lima into English. Janice Sposer, all these people are basically British and German and so forth and so on. You see? So he gonna take a definition out of here to go against the definition in E. Wallace Budge dictionary, and then make it seem like it is the authority over all books when these other books been around way before this thing was just created. this tool they created online. You see what I'm saying? So now let me show you who this lady is, because it's a female that did it. Nothing wrong with a female doing nothing. But let me show you his source. See her name right there, Dr. Inglow Hoffman? And she got somebody else with a key co-ed, whoever that is. You know, they ain't even speaking English. So these are Smash Rockwell sources that he's trying to use to come up against my teaching, you know, that deals with the Moors basically inheriting their name from Amun-Ra. He want to bring the European up against me.
Doch viel weniger ist von der nicht-materiellen Kultur bekannt, wie zum Beispiel der Literatur. Bereits aus dem Alten Reich, also der Zeit der Pyramiden, gibt es Expeditionsberichte und...
And so these are the experts that he looking to. See here? That the language of love in ancient Egypt. This is what Smash Rockwell is trying to promote to the people. I'm here trying to break the spell of this Eurocentric concept, and he's still trying to bury our people up under this garbage. See, this is why you can't trust these people out here, because they'll say anything just to get some likes. You see what I'm saying? Yes, sir. And if you, oh, that's our brother Nova Bridges there. We're going to let you in, brother. We'll let you speak soon as we get done, because it ain't going to be long. I'm just exposing this cat. Islam, peace and love. And anybody else want to come in, they can come in too. Yeah, so just give me 1 second, because I'm cooking this individual over here. This is what Smash Rockwell has brought to the manifest. You know, this is his Egyptian, you know, source, so to speak. And this is what we got to stop. This is what I'm going after, family. Our people keep coming up here trying to use these Eurocentric concepts and teachers to teach our culture. I know what E. Wallace Budge wrote. I don't know what Alan Gardenia wrote. You know what I mean? If you want to honor somebody that's really doing the work in the field, get the works of Mustafa Gadala, because he a native-born Egyptian. And he going at a lot of that misinformation that them European put out there, like calling our text the Book of the Dead. You know? No, it's the Pert M. Heru, the coming forth by light. Why our book got to be the Book of Dead? You know what I mean? Certain things that they try to say when they look at Neter and Neteru, they say, well, this is God and goddesses, and then go to trying to say, well, our people were worshiping, you know, anything, idols and all. No, that's not the case. God was Neter, and Neteru represented his attributes and his qualities. See, that's what I'm saying. But people don't know that. They get misled. Now, I'm finna show you something. And I'm going to use one of his sources, since he want to play with this etymology. Now, look at this, family. Look at this. This is just dealing with M&R. That's all I did. And I went to Wiki to do this. I don't even use Wiki like that. This is the Wiktionary, right? Watch this. Because I got some real sources I'm coming with in a second. This is just heating up. Look at this word dealing with M&R right there, right? In the etymology, they dealing with all the cognates of it. They go into Akkadian, which means stones, mound, waymaker, right? Akkadian, Amartu, dividing wall. Amaru, which is a pile of bricks. Amir, treetop, mountain, summit, right? It goes on to be raised high, to be high. You know, Rayum, Proto-Afro-Asiatic, a heap of stones. So we can see this is normally referring to some type of building of stones and everything. And it go through all these different languages. For those who don't believe that a word can be traced all the way back from the ancient into the modern, from the modern to the ancient. Now look at what it connect this word to. Mir, right? That's mir. That's the same word that I used earlier. Now I'm gonna open my slide up that I'm using to deal with this one. I ain't went over it yet. I'm gonna just touch this one right here real quick, just to make it plain. Hold up, where it is. I got it right. Here it is, right here. See it there. Here it is right here, pardon self. So look at this. This is that same glyph right here, mir. You see mir over here. Mir means what? Amen. Again, right? Pyramid. So it's referring to Amen is really the temple of perfected man, but it's also the word for pyramid. You see what I'm saying? And they showing you that all through, the Egyptian expression. So right here, you also see Mir as a brave man. But you see Mir here again in another area. Again, it's Amen. So if Mir and Amen is constantly being connected in these texts in different areas, family, then it's not me that's making up these cognate relations. This is what the book is saying. Now you come later with this stuff you come up with and say, oh, it don't mean that, it mean this, as if that existed before this. You see what I'm saying? You make yourself look real bad when you do something like that, especially when you think nobody don't see it. And so I'm exposing you. So again, this is Smash Rockwell's teacher, because that's who he's drawing from. Again, you see a name right there, Inglore Hoffman. How do I know this? Because her name is right here in the same tool that he was using to try to prove me wrong. Let me blow it up real big. Again, there she is right there. Pardon self, it's over here actually. The editing of the Lima list has been in the hands of Inglore Hoffman. And again, this other individual, Simon Swetzer, Swetzer, whatever you want to call it. We know it's Russian or Britain, So I'm showing you that just like I traced that root right there through all these languages, and it went back to pyramid though, it checked out. So you can't change that. That's why we say the general opinion of men will never alter the nature of the truth. Let me go to the panel and ask my brother that's on here, what he think. Our brother Noble Bridges L. Islam, can you hear me, brother?
Islam, Noble.
Islam, grand man. What you think about this demonstration, brother?
Well, you done the research. They can't replace etymology. Plus, that's coming from a pale face. So I don't know why the brother even referencing. You get what I'm saying? It's like we in the age of Aquarius now, so everything is available to us.
Yes, sir. And that's what I'm getting at. And so the key is, like, when I quote these individuals or sources, I'm quoting them to critique them. You feel me? I ain't quoting them because, I'm using them to support me. That's what I'm trying to get him to see. You know what I mean? But like you said, we don't put it out there. Did you see that, Jay, what I just showed you?
Man, what I see is every time you throw a jab, the magi comes back with some emotion.
There you go.
That's what
There
I
you
see. And he started getting into, oh, he's doing this, he's doing that.
there you go.
Man,
Oh,
I feel like he's running now.
That's
I feel like he's
exactly what
running.
he want to make people think I'm running though. Like
No,
he
he's
ain't even
running.
on my level. That's why I don't want
No,
to
no,
debate him.
no.
No, that's a cop out.
Exactly. Because how you earlier in the discussion, how you gonna say, oh, I'm not even disputing that. I actually agree with you. We not, and then later he's making it seem like you don't know what the hell you're talking about at all.
There you
Like
go. Now,
there should be room for differences. That's the exact reason for it to be. Yeah,
right, right. And so you picked up on that. I'm glad you picked up on that, bro. Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet, cause I'm finna expose him, really expose him. But you see how that word, when I trace it through the cognitive roots right here, through all these languages, it went back to this symbol right here. And I can do this with a whole bunch of other words in Kemet. Like the word for water, I can trace the word water all the way back to what they call the Mare Atlanticum, which is what they used to call the Atlantic Ocean. You know what I mean? Because they got words that go there. I can trace, and it actually they mentioning that right here. They talking about the word for water right here, dealing with river, Amory, Mire, Mire part of the irrigation system, Cushite, Cushitic cognates. It's going into all these different languages. This is how you do etymology. They have to be in the root. You can't do this with the word black. See, they take it back to the word mirror again. You see? So we go all the way down here and go to another portion that deal with the bull, which he was trying to deny measure dealing with the bull. I talked about mirror here, and look at it. The bull is referred to in every language here, Akkadian, Hebrew, and it's still dealing with the same root consistently. Though the vowels may change, the root M and R is there, bro. You know what I mean? And that's why I was telling the bull is venerated, are respected by the Moors. And so here's another measure. That's Mirwir again, which is dealing with the bull. Here's Ahmor, Proto-Asiatic, Proto-Afro-Asiatic, which goes back to all these different languages right here. And these deal with aspects of illness, embarrassment, all that type of stuff right there. He want to bring up these definitions to represent the Moor. Ailment, pain, sickness, that's just hatred, bro. You look over all the positive definition to find a negative definition just because you don't like Moors. Now, this is when I'm finna show you that he ain't never been able to show y'all this. This is when I'm finna get to working on and show y'all the real truth. And I want to bring this to the manifest and make it plain. See, this is the true language that one needs to learn to really learn about the texts of ancient Egypt or ancient Kemet, the hieratic, not the symbols that he is called in hieroglyphic. They put these symbols here because they try to say that these alphabets evolved out of these symbols. But in my research, I've been able to prove that these alphabets didn't evolve out of these symbols. They took these symbols as markers because they couldn't really recognize the alphabet, because these alphabet don't look nothing like, these symbols here. Even though they try to find something that they think looks similar, these are not the same things, but that's a whole nother teaching. I got lessons on that. So look at the M. They saying this is the owl, right? Let's get outside of the M for the owl and look at the actual alphabet, of the letter M. You see, or the letter R, right? This is the actual alphabet for the letter R. See, they don't talk about this. A lot of people don't even know that Kemet got an alphabet like this. How do I know this here? That's the letter M right there. You see it? Right beside this. Not only is that the letter M right there, but when you come down here and you deal with the letter R, we see the letter R right here. Let me blow that up so our people can see it. Stretch it out a bit. See? This is the letter R and this is the letter M in hieratic. These just different forms by different people who wrote it. That's why you see a slight difference between, this right here, right? So now when you come over here, watch how many of these different signs that are up here. Now we focusing mainly on the alphabet itself. We don't really care too much about the symbols they put on the side of it because that's not the language. The language is the alphabet. You see what I'm saying? Only thing we focusing on is the transliteration, M and R, M and R, M and R. You see the different variations in the different alphabets that are used for M and R. But the connection you will find will be dealing with what we call Unicode. And I'm going to show y'all that in a minute. So pay attention to the Unicode as we go into it. And I'm going to show you how he tried to deny that these things were connected. I'm going to prove they are. See this here? This is Unicode right here. These Unicodes are really just numbers in the place of, they supposed to have been letters like this, breaking down the meaning. But then they use this right here, Unicode, so you can find it. So that's pyramid, all dealing with the letter, in reference to the M and R. Then you have another measure here, like I was talking about the lakes and the waters that I just showed to you a few minutes ago, and that's here. That's the Unicode for that. Then you have here, what means to be fortunate or successful. I'm showing you all these different definitions, and I'm going to take you to the Unicode right now. So let us go to the word, and I actually already have it pulled up here. Let us go to the actual language. See, he don't know nothing about this, so he ain't going to teach the people this stuff here. N36 is the root word that I emphasize to this brother, and I was talking about the Unicode. You're going to see me do it. I'm going to open the video back up. So these are the words dealing with the M and R. Matter of fact, I'm gonna take you back here too, so you can see it. Look at the signs they trying to use here, right? We don't care nothing about the symbols and the signs per se. We just showing them to you because we're dealing with the Unicode, and it takes us back here in these areas that deal with the actual alphabet. Again, this is the actual alphabets here, coming from here, and then they say, well, this is the same sign as this alphabet. You see? Anything they could find that looks similar, that's what the European were doing, putting them beside, you know, the alphabet. And a lot of this stuff they was reaching. Some of it, you can say, all right, see, because that ain't got nothing to do with that, even though they're trying to make that be the same thing. You know, but what we will point out here is look right here. M and R. This is in the Unicode. The Unicode is N36 in the tool that I'm using. This is Moeller's tool. This is another M and R, right? You'll see them changing in the alphabet, you know, many different expressions of it. Now watch what happens when I click on M and R. I'm gonna hit M and R, and it's gonna bring everything up that's associated, you know, with M and R. Look at what they have. Notice they try to mark this. I just showed that to you a few minutes ago in my PDF right here. Let me pull it up again. I showed you how they tried to use that right here. See what I'm saying? And this is just dealing with the connection through the Unicode that I'm pointing out. So again, this is the alphabet. This is what the Europeans tried to express later on as what they call the alphabet. And I'll get into that at another time. You know, so this is the actual hieratic papyri. All the papyri that you find in Kemet is wrote in this. It's not wrote in, you know, these symbols that you have here. See, ain't nobody never taught this here. I'm exposing everything. They use these symbols to keep our people from learning the alphabet, so they'll never be seeking this. They'll be looking at symbols. And if you don't know that papyri exists in this language, then you burn up from the start, because you're trying to basically interpret things based upon on what they dealt with. So as you can see, the symbols are varying here and they change. But all of them are linked to this same root right here, M and R. If you keep looking as I scroll down, though these symbols change, they still in the same vein of the language. There go your pyramid that's showing up, right? Now watch this. As we go on down, we keep going. You see M and R on every level. That's another expression. This is actually what they call a bilateral, you know, two-letter words, so to speak, you know, but they express in M and R. So all of these words are connected to each other, despite Smash trying to make you think they wasn't. You see, that's what he did in the video, and I'm gonna expose him. So we done exposed him already, that this is his source. This is what he's drawing from. This is supposed to correct E. Wallace Bud's source from saying amen is more. See, he didn't know that commission was gonna bring this out. I wonder what he got to say about that then. We got you, Smash. The people see, so we showing that you scamming again. Now let me show you how disingenuous this young man is. I'm gonna show you how disingenuous our brother is. Watch this. This is how all this stuff here started, because he been banging on me for about 2-3 weeks. And I ain't never came at this brother disrespectfully in no type of way. Let me show you some clips I got on Smash. Because he was coming at me, so I seen some of the videos, and look at what happened here. Watch this. All these right here pretty much exposing him right here. Watch this. So here is actually a picture. Hold up, that's a different one right there. It's this one actually. It's actually this one right here. Hold up. Trying to pull this thing up. Y'all got to see this here. Y'all got to see this guy in action. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, this is one of them. And it's another one actually that I put. He said he claimed that he got. Why that one keep coming up? I may have worded that one wrong, but we'll go with this one right here though. Y'all gotta see this right here. I just started finding out about this clips thing too. It's something new to me. but it is real good.
Here we have the symbol, y'all.
Now, the night before he did this, I told him he was wrong about what he was saying. He say I was wrong, right? I told him it was the letter Y. So I told Judah I did a video with him. That's why I got clips on here. You're going to notice that this guy, he going to come and see that he wrong. And he going to try to make, you know, the people be wrong on certain other aspects. But watch this, watch this.
But you got to notice some stuff.
Like somebody in the
Here we have
audience
the
said he
symbol,
can't stand to be wrong.
and it says it don't say what I said. I said it's Emmy. I was looking through this dictionary this morning and seeing this. Oh, I got hella mad, bro. I was like, what? They wrong. What's this? I was like, oh, somebody gonna look and try to say that I was wrong about what I said about the Emmy. Now let's go over and look at its corresponding sounds. You actually see that it also starts to look like the H, but if you gotta be real bad to confuse it with the symbol that we had. So now they're saying it means own existence. But notice this one is in parentheses for a reason.
Now, so he just admitted that he was wrong, but he didn't want to tell y'all that I told him he was wrong. Now watch this. Watch this. Let me show you again. He admitted he was wrong. He hated to admit it, but he admitted it. So watch this. Because I got moments. This is actually going back to the letter, well, the night before he posted that, you know, I had already posted this. I had already caught his error. And I had pointed out.
At the bottom. You see them letters closer together. You see the hook at the bottom, Judy? Let me blow this.
Yeah.
See that? Now look at this. Right? And now look at this. You see it?
Yeah, right there. Yep.
Right there. You see what I'm saying? Now let us go back. Let us go back over here. So when you go into all these and you see it, what letter do it say that is right there? See,
Leave the screen.
that's the letter.
Say why? Why?
Didn't I see that's what letter it was?
Uh-huh.
He said I was wrong, right?
Right.
You see this here, man? I just showed you this identified together. He's gonna put that on me.
Yeah.
Here we go at the bottom.
So there it go right there. I told him the letter was Y, and what it was, he was trying to get me to transliterate, you know, that whole little thing right there. It was actually right here. He was trying to get me to transliterate all that's in red. And then when I showed him the letter was right, and that tool that he was using, too, the dictionary, he got that from me. I know he'd been on a channel watching, but he wouldn't let me read it all the way out. He made a conflict, you know, to where I had to say, all right, brother, I'm going to leave this conversation long because I see I ain't getting nowhere. And I went to my channel and I did a review on it. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't going to let me talk, you know, and that's what he tried to pull last night, too. You know, I supposed to go on Sarnetta's platform to do my own show, you know, but I don't disrespect people, you know, when it come to me, because I ain't got nothing to hide. You know, this man just want to be right. I'm trying to teach my people. I love my people. I ain't in this just to be right, you know, and get a bunch of likes and all that type of stuff. You know, I'm trying to bring clarity. You know what I mean? And I think this is another where I was actually going at this one on this clip. This was like days before that took place.
Hieratic Greek.
And I was telling them that the hieratic come first, which is what I've been showing you.
For use with pen on paper or on ostracon, that is potsherd of limestone flake. It is a mistake to think that hieratic developed out of hieroglyphs, since hieratic appears earlier in the archaeological record than the hieroglyphics.
And that's the thing too. They so bent on talking about hieroglyphics came first, and I'm trying to tell them, no, my brother, the hieroglyphics didn't come first. Hieratic came first, and I got a whole bunch of. That's what I'm gonna be talking about tomorrow. I got a whole bunch of sources over here to prove that. You know what I mean? And then they say I don't show no sources. They say the one of the brothers say, no, go ahead and show the source that come from 5 years back. Anything that go older than that, that ain't considered a source. Are you crazy? So now we putting a timeline on what type of sources you use. They doing that because they know that everything that I pull up, I'm gonna be exposed. Now I'm gonna use modern and ancient when I get in this discussion tomorrow. I'm gonna use old sources, and I'm gonna use modern sources. You know what I mean? This is another one, and we're gonna get back to that video, and I'm finna show you what.
Right?
This was actually another breakdown on that one. We ain't even got to go there because really that was a different drawing.
I'm gonna say this again.
Okay, let me go back over here. We'll just get back to this right here. I want to show y'all the reaction of what took place last night. Let me see if anybody else trying to get in here.
That was a good grandstand, right? But the only difference is what you fail to realize, my brother. In the other dictionaries that I have here, and I'm finna pull them up and show them to the people. You know how many different words are rooted with the image?
All right, hold on for a minute. Family. How many of y'all, now Smash, we do it for the people. How many of y'all would love to see this discussion, this debate, if you will, between Smash and the champion over there in Commission in Smash? Because Smash might end up taking his title. So JJ, are you willing to put that title on the line against Smash?
We'll see. Hold on, man. Wait a minute. What do we gain out of this? Hold on. I'm just saying, what do we gain out the deal? If my guy wins, is he the Armand Ron champion?
I'm gonna tell you like this, family. When I knock you down, I'm gonna come over there and bring them right teachings to your platform every time you need them. Just like a champion do. Y'all seen how Hamza did Kevin Holland? Yeah.
Okay, I'm willing to put it on the line. But
let me say this real quick.
Hold on.
I can't hear y'all, so I had to go out and come back in because Eric Graham called me. I'm gonna go back and come back in.
Hold up.
See? Hold on.
Let me show you this real quick.
All right, go ahead, brother, Commission.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you how disingenuous our brother is. See, he know better than that, and he done crept through my channels enough to know exactly what's going on here. So let me show you something. This is the dictionary, one of them that goes right in. He's saying, do you see how many different words dealing with the M and R here?
What that got to do
with it? Hold up, let me finish talking. I didn't cut you off, brother. It got a lot to do with it. All these words dealing with the root M and R, right? There's the one I showed you dealing with pyramid earlier, right? Libation, overseer, right? That he spoke of weavers. The word overseer is MRW. That word is very important because it's speaking to people. Don't cut me off, bro.
MRW mean weavers, not overseer.
Hold on. Smash, let him go.
My apologies, family. I'm going on mute.
Yes, sir. Okay, so I'm showing you all the words that are here. This is what he's doing, and it's disrespectful to the audience because he don't believe y'all are intelligent enough to look this stuff up on your own. So you have mirror as canal here, right? MRW, and these words are connected. And I'm gonna show you where your connections are, family. I'm gonna show y'all how to find the words for real. This is how you tell these words are connected. You see this Unicode right here? That N36 is often linked to this word here. That's why you see N36 right here. Every time you see N36, it's M and R. You see? Though these are different definitions, it's still dealing with the same root. See, I'm finna uncover the falsehood here. See, so when you get to weavers, you get the N36 is still present with the M and R and the overseer. N36 here. N36, remember, it's M and R, right? So when you come down here, it's so many definitions here, family. Look on how far this goes. M and R all the way, weaver, service. Is that bull that I just showed y'all a few minutes when I was talking about men wear? You see, love, desire, wife, M and R, blind, him. I mean, we can go on and on, family. So what he tried to do is tried that he didn't know I was gonna go there. And right here, even in E. Wallace Budge text, right? Same thing. M and R. You see how many different words? More. They go to bull again. You see the mirror right here, right? See mirror right there. Let me blow this up. I want to make sure our family can see this. You see this word mirror is in relation to itself as opposed to what he's trying to say. So he took one word meaning writing and tried to sway y'all with that who don't know no better. So again, let's look at mirror right here. What does it mean? I'm in again. You know what I mean? So set it up.
I'm in 25, 21. I'm going to pull that up too.
Set it up, family.
Hey, hold on. Let me say something real quick. Hey, I got another one. Hold on, Commissioner.
One mic. Brother JJ, it's on you, brother.
Yeah, I got another one of my my Moors is getting ready to come in here, man. Teach you what about the word black mean. You know, the brother Andy Dominus. Yeah, hey, one of the old school lions then coming out the den, getting ready to roar. So Sonetta, if he in the back, hold up,
JJ,
bro.
We already know what Moors teach about black, brother. I mean, we know that already. That's old.
So I got this open panel, man. The brother want to come on. Hey, was y'all scared? Come on, man.
Hey, scared of what?
I'm just saying, let the brother on, man. He been in the audience. Yeah.
Hey, Commissioner, you messed that up again, but this what you do tonight. Go read the front of E.A. Wallace Budge and read up on how when he used the word "amen" with a period and put two numbers behind it, bro. That's a source, not a definition, my friend.
Yeah, that's your opinion, brother.
That's not an opinion. What are you talking about? Y'all hear the type of stuff we talking about? We can prove whether that's an opinion or not.
Look, I just
all right. Hold on, Commission. Let him go, Commission.
Yeah, well, he actually cut in the video.
No, but it's my show. I actually let you on just to get you a little bit.
It's his show. Commission, just do your show tomorrow, bro.
Yeah, it's good.
JJ, relax. Let them go. Hold on, Commission, hold on. Hey, family, with a press of the number 1, do y'all want to see this discussion? I think it will be educational for both sides. Both sides bring that fire. Commission, whether you agree with his sources or not, he definitely sourced up, and you can go and check it, whether it's wrong or right. And same with Smash. These are brothers that will bring sources. They know what sources, how important the source is.
Let me ask you something, Si, real quick. I'm not trying to cut you off. I just showed y'all the brother was wrong, and nobody weighed in on that. And that ain't the type of debate.
Yeah, I seen that.
Like,
people gotta say when you wrong. When I just
no. He was showing you that the word "amen" was the source. Was not. What was it?
But I just showed you, sir, where he just took a word, one M and R word, and tried to make that something other than what I said.
But you didn't let me address that too, because you made a lot of gross mistakes.
That's
so
what
he
we
went to
got
JJ. He let you present all of that and went to JJ after that.
That's why
okay. So let me go back to Smash. Smash is on you, brother.
Back up. I'll speak all on that and show more of your mistakes, bro. You don't know.
We'll debate it, brother.
Yeah, man.
I'll do it.
JJ, relax, JJ.
Yeah, hey, get Uncle from me then, son, about this pyramid
y'all about
thing.
to have a flow. I see brother Michael Banger in the building. Shout out. My brother, you just went, Napa, I know you got sensibility. You remember on the document when the PhD was telling us that's the difference between red, rude, rud, because all we had is an R and a D, and we have to know which one actually, we have to match on the word on two terms to form a cognate. You can't just match the M and the R. And then you was just messing up grossly. You said the M and the R meant overseer in that sentence. It was the M-E-R. This is why I wanted you to put the screen back up so I could show you how many mistakes you was making. When you trying to match a cognate, you have to have the meaning and the consonants. You can't just take the consonants and go through every word in a language that got those consonants and say it means what you want it to mean. That is not how you do etymology. I don't even have to filibuster. Everybody know that. If you would put the slide back up, we would see how you was just growing.
You want to put it up, Commission?
Yeah, he not going to put it up.
I don't, and son, I don't have a problem putting nothing I got.
Please do that dictionary so I can illustrate.
But this is the key. This is the key. Let me tell you something.
Just put it up. You don't have to talk. You trying to cut me off as a bargain to put the slide back up. I'm still talking and I'm on the flow. You're trying to cut me off. But I don't need you to put it back up. I don't need you to put it up. I got dictionaries right here.
All right, hold on, Kamisha. He's still talking, Kamisha. Let him finish.
Put the slide up.
He just wants you to put the slide up.
That's the only reason I unmute.
Why you want to unmute? You could have put the slide up without unmuting, bro.
You asked me a question.
I asked you to put the slide up. That's all. You still filibuster.
Hey, Sharnetta, mute both of them. Mute both of them, Sharnetta. Yeah, so we can order, bro.
JJ out.
Order here. I was asked the question.
Don't mute both of them. It's my turn to talk.
All right, hey, Commission, just let him finish, brother. Let him go so you can get back in. Go ahead, Smash.
What you mean cut you off? I was talking. I asked you.
If you notice, he at the point now, he don't even want to let me say nothing. You know what I mean? It's just a bunch of confusion. You see, he in his feelings. And that's what he did the last time when I was on there. For some reason, he will, when I go to exposing him, he don't want to let me say nothing there because he trying to make it, you know. Yeah, he gets unruly, and I watch him.
Put up a slide, and you started trying to talk, and the slide still ain't up. So what? This is the type of reason why I won't debate people like this.
See, this is the cop out.
Trying all this shit. I simply said, put the slide back up.
See, he's saying I don't debate people like that's a cop out. You see, like I'm the problem. No, you the problem, Smash.
Yeah, he's running.
Why won't you?
He ain't the only one running though. There's a lot of them running.
I'm gonna just open up a dictionary.
Commission, you don't want to throw the slide up?
And see, he tried to make him believe I didn't want to put the slide up there. Same information I've been done put out there to everybody. This is all tactics now.
Brother, I'm finna put the slide up though.
Okay.
That's the thing. That ain't a problem.
What's taking so long?
That ain't a problem. But what I'm saying
is, you need to talk. See, you trying to filibuster.
Hey, bro. Be
quiet, JJ.
Be quiet. Stop crying, bro.
And I'm showing what's happening.
Man, do you have any respect? I'm finna put
no, not for nobody who act the way you acted.
See what I'm saying? Now you hear that? How did I act on there, bro? When I asked him, do you have any
what
respect?
He did was he asked you to put the slide up. You said, I got no problem putting the slide up. Then right after your very first words, he started cutting in.
He started
confusion.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he ain't stopped since then. You see it?
That's right.
And that's a diversion. It's called filibustering. And everybody else say, I ain't never seen Smash get like that. Yeah, Commission the only one that can make them all get like that. For some reason, when I go to talking, they go to cussing me out and everything. You know what I mean? Calling me all type of NIGGAs and, you know, they go in. You know, but I never move by that because I got information. The truth will knock the brains out of falsehood. You know, we smashed that rock like Moses with that rod of truth, and he cried a river. Just like it did for the children of Israel. You know what I mean?
Are you up here crying?
Okay, excuse me, Sonetter. You know, you can go in the stream and just scroll back and get
right.
What
But I'm gonna put it up.
Now you're gonna put it up.
But what is all the antics for?
Yeah, he's crying.
Who doing the antics?
All right, everybody chill. Let's get order back, y'all. Come on. Let's get order back. Let's respect. Let's respect each other.
Person got a slide. What I'm supposed to do? You back and put the slide back up. I ain't disrespecting him either. And respect is look. Respect is treating people how you want to be treated. Anybody act like this ain't getting treated like I want to be treated. You getting treated how you supposed to be treated.
See him again? You see him again? See what I'm talking about? It's just malicious at this point. This is crazy. Our people can't learn like that. Because what they go to saying is these Negroes act crazy as I'm acting. What I need to learn, and I ain't the one acting crazy. You know, I'm saying it because I'm up here with him. You know what I mean? But that's how the truth get lost in conflict and confusion. You feel me?
Act right. Put up the slide.
And watch, while I don't say nothing, I put the slide up for him. Watch, he still.
What is it? You know we ain't seen none of this.
Watch this.
That's the one you messed up on. My good brother, we're talking about the one you was just going through the dictionary. That's all, my brother. When you was just going through the dictionary.
Is it this one, brother?
He's about to show. He was just about to show. He was just on it. It was the one before that when he was saying all the MR words. I'm just trying to make. Thank you, family. I'm just trying to make one illustration. You messed this all up. Even when looking at the Unicode, that ain't no. That's not no Unicode. That's the Gardner sign list. Hold on. Who doing all this magic and making me not be heard right now? Like, what's going on?
Hey, Graham,
Everybody got to go on mute. That's the brother there, the LX.
That's just a supporter of the brother who trying to let me not be heard. Now, look, what he called was the Unicode is actually the Gardner sign list. These signs in the middle, I know y'all can't see my cursor, but he's obviously not familiar with it. Now, you see a list of different words that in English have similar consonants, but when we look over to the Medu Neter, we've all learned about determinatives, which help us distinguish between the different terms. Therefore, when you see Maru, bulls, in English, you don't read Medu Neter, so you're just looking at an M and an R and trying to say that's attached to Moors. But when you look clearly over here, you see different determinatives, the final images you see to the left in the left column, which indicate how each of these words should be looked at. Furthermore, you said M-E-R, it was further down on this slide, it's not on the screen right now. You said M-E-R Marut, and the Marut meant overseers. That's incorrect. M-E-R is the part of that sentence that means, oh, now let's go down and we'll illustrate this. Thank you, brother, for participating. And I appreciate that. You passed it up just a little bit, just by a little bit, right there. You see where it says overseer of the weavers? Well, all you gotta do is scroll up and find the word M-R-W means weavers. M-E-R is a abbreviation. Now look at the Medu Neter to the left, y'all. And so obviously you see a tongue in the left column of the third, from third to the bottom on the top page, and you see a canal and a single stroke. Then we got the Gardner list in the middle. M-E-R Marut. Marut is the weavers in that sentence. You trying to attach that to overseers. M-E-R is the part that represents overseers. And most people looking at the screen can simply see that now. And in closing, I appreciate you participating. Just scroll up a little bit, my brother, and I'm going to let you do your thing if you don't mind. Because when you basically, you got to go by, pick which definition you're going to say mean Moors out of all of those more definitions, and then latch on to that one. The reason why I asked you to go up, because on here, there was a definition for weavers. But if you would have thoroughly looked through this text, you would have deduced that if M-R-W means weavers, then M-E-R, Maru, meaning overseer of the weavers, M-R-W can't mean weavers on there. But unfortunately, when we scrolled up, we didn't identify that point in the text. So in closing, I'm going to say, if you want every single M-R to mean something with Moors, you have to include M-R pain, ailment, M-R sick, ill, displeased, painful. You have to include all of those, and that is erroneous. And lastly, I'll say in closing, I recommend you picking which definition you think means Moors and then trying to match that up with a cognate term. Thank you for participating. I know it was hard to put that slide back up on the screen, but I appreciate you.
No, it wasn't hard at all.
All right.
See, now that's the prime example right there, right? The condescending, even while I'm putting the stuff up there, he was trying to gaslight and get a reaction out of me, and I didn't feed into it. But all that other stuff he was saying, that's what I just disproved him on when I brought up my my slide here. If you look at the slide that I have for this, and I ain't even went all the way through it, like I was showing this guy, and I showed him with the tool that I was showing, the MR is connected to MR no matter where you go, through the Unicode. This is the Unicode. The Unicode is attached to different glyphs. It's not attached to Alan Gardner's sign list alone. It's attached to all the lists. And this is where you will find that once you put the number of it, like I told him, it was N36. When you come up here, you know, I had it right here. You do N36, which deal with the Unicode, it's going to pull everything up dealing with that same root, the M and the R. Everything that has to do with that is going to pull it up. That's the quickest way to do it. Now, what you do after you in M and R, how you pull everything up, just hit M and R. So when it changes, it's going to show you everything that's associated with this. So all these symbols that you see, you know, here, as far as dealing with the alphabet and everything, it is the same as you would see it in the other dictionary that I showed you. And there's many different dictionaries. I got like 3 or 4 of them, you know, that are featured here. You know, I got them all down here. You know, this is one. And everybody get a different definitions, and they get their own meaning to these particular words based upon whatever choice. That's 252,568 words in this dictionary right here. For example, let me go down here to about, I want to say 470, because that's where a lot of the M words are in here. And I can give y'all an example on how this dude is disingenuous, and he's trying to sway the people by what they don't know, which I call it disrespectful. You want to play on the people's ignorance, you know, to promote a lie. You know what I mean? And I can't honor that, family. Just cause the people don't know, you're gonna try to make it seem like I'm putting something in here. Here's the demonstration with overseer right here. You see how many times that's in there? It says exactly what I said it meant. Look at all that. Overseer of the letter. Overseer, I mean, you can go all the way through this whole demonstration. Overseer, district superintendent. Because, you know, you have some people say that the word mir has nothing to do, or emir has nothing to do with the word that connects to a people, humans. You know what I mean? And the Emmy, the I that's added on there is still rooted in the M, in the R. And that's why you'll see the same thing when you look at the N36, there it is. You know what I mean? The same thing I typed in here to pull up the M and the R. You know, when we go back again, let me do it. N36. This is again the Unicode. It's that easy. And then you see what comes up, because that is the root. You see? So, like, man, stop playing with the people, brother. You know what I mean? And it ain't just the N36. You know, it's other measures in there. When you look through the Unicode, you're going to see every number, you know, that relate to this demonstration, family. Look at here. See the G17, D21, G17, D21. Then if you keep going down, you'll see the N36, N23. You know, you see O24 here. You see O24, O24, U6, U7, U6, U7, U23, U23. You know, so this word has many different connections. All of these words are put together because they are in connection to each other. You see what I'm saying? And that's how you navigate through the dictionary. So if I start transliterating, I use the Unicode, and I can point out everything it is that I need to find. Easy. See, that's how you do it. So here's another dictionary. And I'm not basing my measure solely off of this. I look at what they say, because a lot of this stuff didn't even come from these authors. Like E. Wallace Budge didn't translate, you know, the meaning of those words. They came from the native Egyptians that he paid, basically, you know, muscled out of the interpretation. Just like he stole the paper and walked out with it up on his arm. If the Arabs had caught him, they would have cut his hands off. You know what I mean? So that's a whole nother measure. But, you know, so I ain't got to keep going over and over that special drawing. But I want y'all to see where my inspiration come from. I'm going to show you what etymology do. When you trace true etymology, it's going to connect back up with history. Now, this is a document. It's called The Records of the Past, right? It's written during the 1800s. Now, watch what it say here. Watch what it say here. This finna blow y'all mind. This is how, see, when you get into etymology, you're going to find the truth. I'm going to start right here, because all the other texts ain't really necessary. This is pointing to my source. You know, we'll say Merapta. It states, at peace through the truth, may the time of his life be like the sun. He answers on of his mercy. His majesty, pardon himself, called Numar, right? See the root? Numar Rumeri, right? And they got the number 1 there. Pay attention to that number 1, because it's going to be important in a second. It's actually dealing with, you know, what they are referring to in regards to dealing with this name. It says not the Mirintah. It said at peace, it says through truth, called Amen, the prince of the land of Lubu. And Lubu is another name for Libya, family. So they're saying that Amen was called the prince of the land of Lubu. How do we know this right here? Let's go down here to this number 1 as it takes us here. And then it also has the number 2 that follows up. It's giving you particular places that they are referring to these lands by Akusha, Torsha, Luku, what they call Sharutana, and then Shikliusa. It say all the lands of the north of the Great Sea came all the lands. Now watch what it says. Victorious by the valor of Amen. It says was the king of upper and lower country, right? Which is Egypt. Ba-in-Ra, beloved of Amen, the son of Menapta, right? At the peace through the give of life, truth the give of life, pardon self. Then that good God was, right? But that one was alluding to the land of who? Let me blow this up real quick. Because we want to make sure everybody can see this plain when we put this up here. Or called also Moors in northern Egypt. Oh my God. Didn't I say that Lubu was Libya? See, this is what happened when you think you playing with somebody that's lightweight. You see what I'm saying? Now all you're doing is making me expose you even more. This is a source that's basically just out there written. Now, I ain't done yet. You know, because we're going to make sure, like I say, we put this demonstration to rest. Now, here's another book, not even related to that book I was just reading. Now, it's going to get into the definition of all those lands I just read about with them funny names because they mention them right here. You see what I'm saying? And it's actually talking about the home ground of a large body of invaders and facial resemblance of what they call the Mashus. It says to the Shakalusa, same thing that they was talking about a few minutes ago, basically. Different names that they referring to as names of what we call Tunisia, Sicily, and Sardinia, other names. It says the names of the chiefs are given as Didi, Mashiknu, or Mar Aku, Mar, and I seen this in the Egyptian dictionary. That's gonna make me go back and do some research on that. And Mar and Zudamar. In these, Mar, Moor is probably the Moors. Again. Huh? Goodness gracious. How many times do I have to do this until these people understand? Now we finna show you what we depend on as our real source. What we really banking on. Our real motivation comes from here, family. This good brother here, may he rise in power. This is my real source, Brother G.M. James. I just did my own research to prove what he said, while he using a Eurocentric interpretation to prove what he said. You see? That's what Smash doing. He using Eurocentric. I'm supporting this brother work. Listen to what he said in Stolen Legacy. Page 33. He said, during the Persian, Greek, Roman invasions, large numbers of Egyptians fled not only to the desert and mountain regions, but also to the adjacent lands of Africa, Arabia, Asia Minor, where they lived and secretly developed the teachings which belong to their mystery system. In the 8th century AD, the Moors, the natives of Mauritania, North Africa, invaded Spain and took with them the Egyptian culture which they had preserved. We're going to read that again because I don't think he picked up on that. He said in the 8th century AD, the Moors, the natives of Mauritania in North Africa, invaded Spain and took with them the Egyptian culture which they had preserved. It says the knowledge of, in the ancient days, it says, was centralized. It belonged to a common parent and system, the wisdom teaching of mysteries of Egypt, which the Greeks used to call Sophia. So it's telling you, and he even tell you if you read the book, the Moors were the custodians of the Egyptian mystery system. And how can they be custodians of the Egyptian mystery system unless they were priests of the Egyptian mystery system? Well, they were priests because they come again through the line of the Libyan, which were the Puttites, You see? And they came forth as known as what we call the high priest of Anu, or the high priest of Amen. This is the lineage of the Moors coming straight up out of Kemet, going across North Africa all the way over into Spain. So I'm using my research to support Brother G.M. James. He told me I find something to trace the word more. I found what I traced the word more to. Straight back to Amen. And we're going to keep teaching it like that right there. We ain't taking nothing out no slide to suit you. I'm supporting my ancestor right here, Brother G.M. James. You supporting the European. And what they say, just because they come up with a different definition, you take that. I ain't depending on even E. Wallace Budge measure. I'm depending on what G.M. James saying. That's all I need. He said, as such, the people of North Africa were neighbors of the Egyptians and became the custodians of Egyptian culture. Do I need to look up what the word custodian means? I'm going to do it anyway just for grabs because we want to make sure our people get it. Let's see. What does the word custodian mean? I know what it really means, but we want to make sure our people know what it means. We're going to click on it for you, family, so you can see it. A person who has responsibility for or looks after something. So let's go into some of, the grand measures in the thesauruses that they have. Curator, keeper, conservator, guardian, overseer, superintendent. These are words that go right back to the dictionary meaning more. Oh my God. And I'm just seeing this right now. See, every time you get to messing with me and I go to digging deeper, all you doing is making me bring more truth to the manifest, Smash. Caretaker, steward, warden, attendant, watchdog, protector, defender. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm standing in defense. Huh? They say a person employed to clean and maintain the building. I'm cleaning up trash Rockwell right now. You know what I mean? So when it come down to it, family, since he want to call me the comedic inept. So when it come down to it, again, they were the custodians. They mean they're protectors of the culture, which they spread through considerable portions of Africa, Asia Minor, and Europe during their occupation of Spain. The Moors displayed with considerable credit the grandeur of African culture and civilization. The schools and libraries which they established became famous throughout the medieval world. The science and the learning were were cultivated and taught. And it says actually this was a different page they put. It says, in addition, the Moors kept up the what they call constant, we can say consistent contact as well with Mother Egypt, for they had established caliphates, not only in Baghdad or Cordova, but also Cairo, Egypt, Europe in the Middle Ages. And he quoting that particular source. It says, just here, it would be well to mention that all the great leaders of the great religions of antiquity were initiates of the Egyptian mystery system. That's what we teach. Systems from Moses, who was an Egyptian hieroglyph, down to Christ. It should also be of interest to know that the European scientists like Roger Bacon, John Kepler, Copernicus, and others obtained their science through Arab or Berber sources. It is noteworthy that throughout the Middle Ages, European knowledge of medicine came from these same sources. OMG, as they would say, right? And this is where I close it out at, fam. Here's a definition from a Hebrew dictionary concerning ham or cam, which ham is hot or warm or applicable to the north of Africa, where the Numidians and dark and swarthy Mauritanians or Moors worship Amun-Ra. Now, a lot of time when they say worship Amun-Ra, a lot of this has to do with them saying they venerated, the ancestors, but the Europeans say things a whole lot of ways. But again, Amen, Amun, the sun, or otherwise Jupiter, Amen, represented by Cam, which is Ham himself. OMG, did I do it again? Not only did I show this when it comes to dealing with etymology, I'm going into the Hebrew dictionary, a Hebrew dictionary now. I got another Hebrew dictionary that'll tell you the word Ethiopian means more. You know, Maruja is another ancient name for the Mari, or the ancient Moorish race. I've been over all this here. And I went over this right here in the page, you know, discussion we did last night. You know, I can even connect this Mari right here to what they call the Rechat structure, which is where they just found Atlantis. So they proved Prophet Noble Drew Ali right there. Those who seen my videos, you done seen a lot of this stuff already. So again, I trace the Moors through etymology, through their M&R root, back to Amun-Ra. I didn't say Amun-Ra meant more. I say I traced the root back to the word that deals with this, because the word Mar that is here is the same root of Dimari, which means Moorish gods. I just showed you the relation of the Moors and them paying veneration to Amun-Ra. Everybody can't be lying, Smash. So the Moors are descendants of the high priest of Anu. We would say that because we know who the last of those priests were. They were the Libyan Moors. They were the Libyan Moors. Let me show you what they look like, so he can't try to say, oh, Commission said they look like some Europeans. You know they'll say that too, right? You know, they'll say that now. They'll try to get away with that. We're going to show you who they really look like, though. We're going to show you what the Libyans look like, so our family have a grand draw. And I got so much up here. You know, the more y'all attack, the more I build. You know, I get in here sometime, I have, look at all these slides up here. You know how long it took? That's almost 200 slides of information, Smash. And all of it is connect to valid sources. All of it. Every last iota. It'll probably be better if I go to this one, actually. Because that one is not pulling up. Let me go to this one, because I want to open up the floor to my panel. And after all this right here, you know, I mean, you can't really come back from this. I just want to show y'all the pictures of what the Libyans look like, so that our people can see this. You can look it up yourself at your own time, you know, but we always been present over there. I probably passed, there you go, right there. I passed it up. That's what the Libyans look like, family. Those who was in that third intermediary period, that were the high priests of our, they came up out of, look at that headdress he got on with the feather coming up out of it. You see Noble Drew Ali right there? He got the same headdress with a feather coming up out of it. All the prophet have on, and I show this all the time. He said this was given to him by the government. He wasn't talking about the United States government, because they don't dress like this. He was talking about the governments in the East. See the feather of Ma'at and the sash? Huh? That looked like Noble Drew Ali a little bit to me personally, in my opinion. But yeah, that's what the Libyans look like, family. So when they talk about the Libyans being the Moors, make no mistake about it. They talking about us. So the original inhabitants coming from that lineage, so to speak, they were known as the Moorish gods. The Arabs wouldn't say that. That's why they call us Berbers, barbarians. They gave us that name because they refused to call us the Demari. That's where the word Moor really come from, family. Demari, Moors. But it also, that word is linked, you know, by etymological root and the proof we showed right to these words as well. So that's what we're saying. And we can see how the word even went all the way over to Sumeri and Mari, the Keta kings that they talk about, who are also descendants of the Egyptians. Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Look, the brother got the fez like headdress on back during that time. The Amorites, the Amaru. So, man, they better stop playing with the people. We ain't gonna address this matter no more unless you get in the rain. All them little videos you've been doing over there, sneak dissing, you know, we're going to keep teaching the people, and we're going to teach them exactly what we said, brother. So with that being said, I'm going to open this demonstration up, family. You know what I mean? Thank you, Sister Lightbear. You know, and that's what we talking about. I agree with you. And we trying to bring balance. Because our key is we trying to unite our people. But every time I put a brick up there to build toward uniting, you got somebody coming behind me. And it make me ask the question, who's sending these people? You know, because I'm like, what is the agenda? If I demonstrate and I demonstrate love and I try to unite our people, I ain't got to agree with everything my people do to unite with my people. You know, but what is the problem with every time I bring a measure of unity, somebody come out the woodworks I don't even know to try to tear that down? I know what it is. It's agent provocateur activity. These guys are being paid just like they was paid to overthrow the Black Panther Party. Just like they was paid to run a propaganda campaign against all our leadership. You know what I mean? And that's why they enjoy stirring up conflict and controversy. People say, oh, they just trolling. Yeah, it's all right to troll and have fun if that's what they want to do here and there, but freedom is not a game. If you see somebody putting something out there that is, you know, basically put there to basically uplift our people, that's something that shouldn't be played with. You know what I mean? Just because you disagree, you know? But again, we have exposed this brother. This is his teacher. And he want to put that up against me, a brother that's trying to teach us we need to translate our own books. It's time for our Christian family to translate your own Bible. Whoever the Most High choose from, I know we're going to translate the Piscean records. We're going to do it. But y'all got to translate your own book. That way we ain't got to be dependent upon the Eurocentric text, if that's what you want to do. So I'm going to deal with the Kemetic teaching. I'm dealing with translating and transliterating this hieratic papyrus. You know, that's what I'm dedicating the rest of my life to, because it'll take a lifetime and I have to pass or teach what I know to one to come behind me to finish my work. But that's what I'm going to be doing. You know what I mean? And the same thing for our Hebrew family. If you deal with the Torah, translate your own Torah and stop being dependent upon what somebody else translated. I'm going all the way across the board with it. We ain't attacking nobody. I'm saying until we start to transliterate and translate our own literature, we will always be a slave to somebody else's opinion. So that being said, let me open up for my brother Jay. Peace, brother.
Peace, peace, peace. That's good.
Hey, you already know, brother.
Yeah, I was tuned in. I'm listening. I'll ask you though, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I hear you. I'm waiting for your measure.
Well, I have questions, and maybe we could do like a review, like Q&A, if that's all right with you.
Oh yeah, I'm cool with that. No problem, brother. You already know.
All right, I'll start from the basics then. What is the controversy or disagreement between you and Smash? What's the one thing that's at the center of what you disagree on with Smash?
Well, really on my part, there's no disagreement with Smash per se, right? Outside of him disagreeing, you know, with me based upon the word M&R, because that's what this stemmed from. And it's based on the fact that he wrote a book years ago. And he was saying the word M&R don't mean more. This is before I met him. I don't know that. So he came out of the woodworks attacking me because he wrote this in a book and he trying to defend his book. I guess he feel my information is debunking his information. So he have to defend that, you know, because I'm in front of the people teaching what I teach. You see what I'm saying? That's where I feel his motive is from.
Right.
You know, and so he feel like he got to defend his work because he been teaching that. And here I come along saying something that's opposed to that. And I didn't know him, you know, so it wasn't intentionally. I'm just speaking the truth. And he can't accept that. He can't say, all right, brother, you know, yeah, brother, you know, that demonstration right, you know, because he done went and wrote that book. Like me, on the other hand, I used to read metal netta like he read metal netta, meaning I would think the symbols were supposed to be read, right? Until I found out I was wrong, and I said, no, that ain't the right way to do it. And I put that demonstration up. It's just good I never went and tried to write no books about it. You feel me? That's the difference between me and him. Because when you put that out there, either you got to go against your whole document, you know what I mean, and say I was wrong, you know.
Nah, you don't. No, you don't. What you do is you create a second edition.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Or you know, come up there and create something different, or either do what he trying to do too. Use the tactics to defend that because he feel like I'm attacking his livelihood by the information I bring forth. And I don't even know the brother, never met him. He came at me. You see what I'm saying? I just did a measure on Sarnetta talking about Amen and showing not that Amen was a Moor. This is another thing. He builds straw man arguments, Brother Jay. I said the word Amen can be traced back through the M&R root back to that. And I just proved that. Not only just with the alphabets, you know, and everything in the dictionary, I just proved that with some historical documents. Go ahead, bro.
Now, that's the part you need to help me with because I'm not sharp in this field, right? So when information comes in, you know, I'm learning from people, and it seems like there's conflicting viewpoints.
That's
just real quick. Connect the M&R to Amen Ra for me, real quick. I know you went over it, but if you could just.
You want me to, yeah, okay, no problem. Again.
So I understand. What I do understand is the Dimari, that means Morse gods, I believe, right?
Yes, sir.
And you'll find that in Kemet, Dimari.
That's right.
You
Well,
also
Damari actually originates later, but it derives from the same root.
The M&R
so let
root.
me show you. Yeah, the M&R root. And so what I'm showing here, let me share my screen real quick for you, brother. Pull it up. Okay, there we go. And let me show you right here.
Okay.
The key is how it relates to Amen is because this is the word basically here that they give in the dictionary. Amen is the definition of this word ma.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Just like also here, ma'ur, which is also, if you remove the M and R, I mean the vowels, you have the M and R still there. It also has to do with the high priest of Anu.
Wait, hold on.
You see what I'm saying?
You're telling me that the Kemites had a word that said Mar.
That's right. This is actually out of the dictionary. I just cropped it out of there. That's right.
And when they
this
would
ain't
say
something I put together. Go ahead.
When they would say Mar, you're saying that they would Mar for them meant Amen?
Yes, sir. That's what I'm saying.
And what's
that was
Amen?
just one of the names of Amen, basically. You see what I'm saying?
That's one of the names of Amen. And you said
Just
Amen
like,
it's the bearer of the light? Is that what you said?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you know, they call him, he got many ways they explain. They call him the sun god. You know, they call him, you know, all types of, you know, things dealing with the sun and light and everything. You know, the hidden light, you know, Amen Ra, the hidden light that become manifest. You know, many descriptions he is given. But this word Mar, go ahead.
Amen is a deity, it's a god.
That's right.
Okay, so you're saying one of their
actually expression attribute of the God, basically, mainly, but man,
okay,
it was a man who was known as Amen as well. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, so all right, so Mar, if they were to say Mar, they're talking about a deity.
There you go. That's basically what's being said, right? Because we deal with the deification of man in ancient Kemet. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we teach, that these principles live through man. You know, so I showed you that Hebrew definition, Mayar, you know, which deals with light being, which is spelled M-A-O-R, because the O is interchangeable with you. I was just showing it was cognate based upon its definition, which means light being. You know what I mean? It means a luminary. You see what I'm saying? And this is the word when it said, let us make man in our image. That word more was the word that was used. When it said light, let there be light, that's what was used, that same word more. So this actually coincides, this Genesis portion coincides with the actual teaching, you know, of ancient Kemet. And when you also go into the book of Revelations, it talks about, you know, Amen, who was a witness from the beginning. Who do you think Revelation was speaking of when they talk about Amen, who was a witness from the beginning of creation? That's Kemetic teaching. Because Amen, known in the biblical text, was just a statement you say at the end of a prayer. But when you say Amen, who was a witness of the beginning of creation, now you're talking about a personage. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, no, I agree. I agree.
I'm gonna show it to you right here too, what I'm talking about, just so everybody can see and they can get the drawing on exactly. I'm gonna go to my page because I be teaching on my Facebook page, family. You know, I use it for straight teaching. You know, that's my sole purpose. Just give me a second here, because I got all this stuff right here. I got even more here than I do probably in them slides, to be honest with you. Because every time I find something, I put it here. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, quick question. So if we just stuck to the Western or English mind frame, and I were to ask you, what is the meaning of amen as Westerners know it? Because I know it's something that you would say after a prayer, like you just
That's
acknowledged.
right.
I know the
means
usage
so
of it, but what does it mean?
So be it.
So be it.
And that's another measure too. So be it. Be what? Amen. So check this out. Now watch this. This is sources involved. You done seen this already because I just showed it to you earlier. In the book of Revelations 3:14, it says, and to the angel of the church of the Laodiceans, write, these things says the Amen, the faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of God. And they go into a measure, but I'm homing in on the fact that it's talking about Amen, the faithful, a true witness. That is not talking about so be it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's talking about a personage.
Yes.
And so to understand that, if we go into our Moorish 101s, it says, what other name do we give to truth? And the answer, we say holy breath. It says, what have you to say about holy breath? All we can say, it is great, it is good, it was, it is, and evermore to be. Amen. You see what I'm saying? So holy breath is being equated with amen in our questionnaire. You see what I'm saying? And not as just a so be it demonstration. Hold up. Oh no, I want to wait. So again, now to go further into that, explaining, and now we know that amen also means a pyramid, a temple. So amen was basically the first expression of being a temple of perfected man, you know, in one aspect. But you have to know amen also in some form connects to Asa, who was the first teacher. This is the unity of the teachings of ancient Kemet. Amen also expresses itself as Ra. You see what I'm saying? Right. That's how people taught in Kemet. It says, now, this is what was said. Prophet Noble Ali told the Moors, know thyself and thy Father God Allah. But when you go into the Bible, it said, know ye not that ye are the temple of God? That's the temple. Man is a living pyramid, and that you, right? And that the spirit of God dwelleth within you. Amen. That's that light being, that light bearer. You see what I'm saying? It says, if any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are. That's 1 Corinthians 3:16 through 17. So in our 101s, we ask the question, can the higher self pass away? No. Why? Because it is Allah in man. And that's the spirit in man. You see what I'm saying? And Allah is also a word that exists in Kemet as well. You see what I'm saying? So knowing thyself is to know the God that exists within the temple of perfected man. You see? And this is what will make one a hero or a brave man. The spirit of God. The spirit of slavery make cowards. You know, the spirit of slavery make enemies to our people. You see? So I got another measure on here I want to show you too, brother. Because a lot of people like to go into this. You can't help but see the link of the root. It says Othello, whether Negro or Moor, belong to an African race. Othello, if you ever heard of Othello. It says Shakespeare, of course, was not ignorant of the great distinction between the two African races, the Moors and Negroes. See how they distinguish the Moors from the Negroes again? It says,
yep,
he must have been well aware that the Maori or the Moors were the aborigines of North Africa, an indigenous race. Huh? Indigenous race, quite apart in color, form more features of the mental characteristics from the natives of Central Africa, the Negroes, you know. And so basically, you know, it's a whole bunch of drawing they go here, but I got another one right here I want to share with you. It says Mauritania, which included modern Morocco, Western Algeria, known to be the source of slaves in late antiquity, right? Which we see that now today. After the Moroccan guy, they say the indigenous people of that area, it say were at that period known as the Mari, the Moors. You see what I'm saying? It says Procopius, writing about the Byzantine Vandal Wars, not long afterward used the Greek adjective melancholy, which means he called it black skin, right? It says the same word used to describe Nephiros, which is to describe the Moors. So the black is a description. It's not a nationality, you know? And it goes on basically dealing with, you know, other measures as well. But I don't want to drag everything out. I just want to point some things out that's obvious, you know? And this is actually here speaking on a grand drawing as well. It speaks on what they call the Gizantians, you know, and the Iranians. It says, and the Atlantes, right? It says the Moors initially were from the Berber indigenous people of Maghreb. That's the furthest west. That Berber term is a misnomer too. It's a book called Invention of the Berbers. It go into that history. It tell you we were called the Mari. We were not called Berbers. So they confirm me as well. That's a more recent book. It says, then the name Moor was later applied to the Arabs. And that's why people think the Arabs became Moors. But the Arabs only became Moors because they mixed in with us when we went into Spain. We were the original Moors. It said they were all descendants of Noah's son Ham. You see? But they went into the languages and everything here. But it says their descendants today are the Amazigh, the Mozabite, which is another name for Moabite. That's why Prophet Noble Drew Ali say the Moors are the descendants of the ancient Moabites. And the Tarega, who live in scattered communities across Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Egypt, Mali, Niger, and Mauritania. They speak various Amazigh languages belonging to the Hamido-Semitic family related to ancient Egyptian and the African Great Lakes region. You know, it even goes into talking about, you know, their present dating back to 10,000 years. And originally Prophet Noble Drew Ali said our flag was 50,000 years old. In the 102s and the 101s, he said 10,000 years old. And that was due to our people not really being able to comprehend, you know, numbers so great as 50,000 at the time. So he brought it to a basic level for them, you know. And so here's another measure here. It says you are both right, because they was asking about the people in the land. It said you are both partly right. Replied, for the Arabs were amongst the first conquerors of the land, and you are wrong in supposing Moors and Arabs to be altogether different races. It says, when the Arabs came into the land, some of them took the plains of the inland and continued their wild wandering, idle style of life, half predatory, half pastoral. And others took up their abode on the coast and became more mingled with the people of other seafaring tribes, built towns, and came at last to be known as the Mari and the Moors. It says, from whence part of the land they dwelt in was known of old by the name Mauritania. You see what I'm saying? That's another source. You see? Then here's another one here where it speaks on the Mari again in the Moors, you know, dealing with indigenous as far as dealing with the translation. So like I got all this stuff here, family. Like I can go on and on with everything it is that I have, just proving this alone. You know what I mean? Put was the founder of Libya. There's a river in that country of the Moors, you know, and it goes on and tell you, you know, who the people are. You know, it goes into telling you who the Libyans are. You know, another measure here, this was an Arab source. Ham from the Mohammedan annals was the common founder of the southern nations, the Moors, Africans, and Indians. That's another measure I have. Here's another one that goes into the definitions of the word Moors and Mari. You know, so like all of this in line with everything that I put up here, you know, it support everything that I said thus far. You know, and every time I come forth, I just get more information. And that's another thing I want to show too. This come from that same site where I was showing you with the root of the M&R, that it has been consistent. We're going to go to the site and show that to you. You know, it has been consistent. Let me pull it up. Where is it? See if they pull it up there. Because they actually have a bottom. I actually took it from here. Let me see if I can find it. No, that's the reconstructed thing in phonology. It's got that whole chart that I got up here. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to pull it up. Okay, not there, not there. Not there. Not there. Was it up top? Okay, let's see. That's a quotation there. That's the language there. Okay. I just had that thing open early too. Sometimes you lose everything in the midst of all this information. Let me see here. Not there. Not there. Okay. Not there. Okay. I didn't even pull all them down. That's showing more root connections there. But yes, I can't find it right now. But nevertheless, it's actually okay. There it go, right there. That's one of them right there. See how it's showing the consistency of that M&R running all the way down here from before the time of the Old Kingdom all the way up to the New Kingdom in the 21st dynasty in Papyr. You see that, brother? And there's the one that I had here from the Old Kingdom here. So you can see the consistencies of the M&R root. You know, you can see the consistencies of the M&R root. So nevertheless, I mean, it don't get no plainer than that. Like we can go on and on and on with this demonstration, you know, but like I say, I wanted to lay to rest all of this, you know, this garbage that's been going on. And I want to salute everybody that's right here tuning in right now. You know, I want to salute our family, Jay, you know, for supporting the channel, Brother Noble Brian, you know, Facebook user, whoever that was, you know, Ray Sean Irvin, you know, Brother Jeremiah Judah, Charles Warrior, Malik Bay. Want to give honors to all of our family official meal man. We give honors to the brother, Red Phillips L. Want to give honors to our brother Marquis Selassie Rob Bay, who always tune in, PN, FSL, Islamism. Want to give honors to you as well. And yeah, our beloved goddess and queen, Sister Lightbearer, naturally spiritual. Want to give honors to her as well. Brother John Potter, we already know that's our brother Larry Bay. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Yeah, and Sister Sonia Fernandez, we give honors to you as well, goddess and queen. You know, so yeah, this is what we've been doing. We've been out here, you know, teaching the people. And I want to answer some questions too that I see here. And thank you for your subscription too, Sister Lightbearer, naturally spiritual. Gratitude. Let the people know we out here teaching the people for real. Okay, let me see here. Peace and love, Sister Sonia. He says, oh, his phone overheating. Let me see, can I find some measures in here? Because I want to highlight what y'all are saying, family, as well. Some of the things you're saying. We addressed this brother Facebook user earlier. You know, he was speaking on, you know, the question should be asked, why is it called Black Land? We, like I addressed earlier, we know why Kemet is called Black Land is because the Egyptologists, they the ones who basically put that particular title, you know, on the land, you know, and we understand that. But in Kemet, the word black didn't exist back during that time. So you would call the people simply Cam. You know, maybe we should even start using that terminology. Peace, Cam. You know, salute, Cam. You know, and get outside of these misnomers that have been given to us now that we know the truth. You know, and I think that Smash that's probably in here making statements, or somebody that rocked with him that's probably said that. You know, our brother said something key here. He said, this is a problem where the brother just can't admit that black didn't exist on the outside of the English language. And that is most definitely the truth, brother. He cannot admit that black didn't exist on the outside of the English language. He can't do it because he feels like it's taking something from him. You see what I'm saying? Then our brother Noble Brian say, if it's not your research, it says, Phil, this is where you are supposed to stand down. And that's the thing. You know, that's the thing. I want to give honors too to the brother Jabari, you know, because we was mounting up, getting ready to, you know, have a discussion, and come to find out, you know, though we may disagree on some things, you know, we have more in common than uncommon, so to speak. We can agree to disagree. But one thing I can say about the brother, when we came on something that he wasn't familiar with, the brother say, brother, that's not my expertise. You know what I mean? You'll have to look for somebody else. And I respect him. That made me gain a lot of respect for that brother. Not because he admitted, you know, that he didn't know, but just the fact of understanding that one was able to go that route, you know, and definitely stand up and be the principles of Ma'at, man. Demonstrate Ma'at, you know. So I honor that brother for that, you know. That's true though. The brother said here, and he quoting our prophet, he said, according to all true and divine records of the human race, he said, there is no Negro, black, or colored race attached to the human family. You know, and hey, I just proved what I proved. So, hey, it's up there. Let me see here. Okay. And this is another thing too. I want to cover this because this was raised as well You know, and I used to teach this. Y'all got to remember, let me say this too. You know, there was a time when you asked me who is the original man. I would say the original man is the Asiatic black man that make it the owner, cream of the planet Earth, father civilization, God of the universe. And that's just straight off the head. You know, 30 years, you know, when I would teach the blackness of the Bible, I would be pointing out, oh, he said my skin upon me is black and my bones are quenched with heat. I done been there, family, 30 years ago. But after growing into maturity, I understand that's just a description. Even the brother who created the term Black Power, he was featured on Sarnetta's show. And he said, we never admit for the word black to represent our race. He said, when we say Black Power, we was just saying that because that basically was a representation of what we was trying to do to empower. But we knew that we were instinctively, you know, an African people. That was the way the brother described it. And that's the problem with our people. They don't know the difference between a description, you know, and also, you know, a nationality. There's a difference between the two. A description has no flag. A description is not a nation. A description doesn't have a divine constitution or a constitution with laws. A description don't have things that people have. Descriptions don't wear clothes. People with nationality and nations bear all these things. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, our brother says, surely we brought man into being out of dry wringing clay. This is one of my favorite quotes in the Quran. It said, which was wrote from black mud. My question is, why do the Islamic world translate Hamas as black? Can you explain this to our people? Yes, I can, Malik Bey. Again, this is because it comes through the lineage of the Kemetic language. The original Quran goes back to ancient Kemet, and the Egyptologists chose to translate the word as black land. So being that the words come out of Kemet in Arabic, you know, being based on that family, the Hamas is nothing more than saying ham. You know, it's just another way of saying it. And so they chose to translate it that way through the lineage of those who give a description of that word. And that's why they translated it. So such that's dealing with the land. You see what I'm saying? Me and both Smash agreed upon that. You know, that, okay, they say it deals with land, but they never said it dealt with the people. Me and him both agree upon that. But why would he rear up and get fired up when I give my measure if he agreed with me already? You know what I mean? That didn't make no sense. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I taught this a lot of time. And even to this day, I point these measures out, you know, as far as dealing with the translation. But I'll tell you like this, in the Quran, there's a measure that speaks of Sebugatala. And the Sebugat has to do with recognizing God within yourself, recognizing his attributes inside of you, not a spook outside of yourself, not spookism, but the God that exists in your being. Like it said in the Piscean records of the Bible, know you not the year, the temple of God and the spirit of God that dwelleth within you, the temple that you are. You know, and it takes you that basically in the Quran. If you go into the Quran, it tells you, you know, that when Allah created man, he told the angels to bow down. He said, I want you to prostrate, fall down into obeisance. They didn't know that he was telling them to bow down to himself in man. That's exactly what I'm going to tell you why I know this. Because he said, I placed a portion of myself, my ruh is what they call it in the Arabic, the spirit of God. When I place this in man, fall down and prostrate, you know, before him, fall down in obeisance to him. It wasn't telling them to worship the man. He was trying to get them to bow down to the greatest crown of his creation because of what he had placed in the man. But the devil, as they like to call him, that became as such your Iblis, he like, I ain't finna bow down to that. You made me from fire and you made him from clay. Black mud, as they like to call it, right? The translation. He could only see, Iblis can only see the physical. He didn't see the spiritual that was placed in the man. He was looking at the physical man. He said, I'm fire. Not knowing that you can use, a bunch of mud to throw on top, a fire and smother it out. Even though Iblis, was created from smokeless fire, he still say, you created me from fire and him from clay. I ain't bowing down to that. I'm better than him. That was actually the first form of bigotry, if you ask me. You know what I mean? I'm better than him. So the angels, they fell down into obeisance. They prostrated. They wasn't prostrating toward the man. They were prostrating toward the God in the man. And that's what we have to do. That was a sign that we must serve the God within the self. Because when you get caught up in the serving gods outside of the self, you start worshiping men, you worship women, you worship cars, you worship money, you worship ego, you worship material, anything else that had to do with the plane of thing made manifest. And our ancient ancestors in Kemet, were masterminds when it came to teaching. Our ancient ancestors in Kemet were, very powerful. They understood that they were connected to nature. And we call this the adept deification of man in our circle. Man's will is connected with the will of God. And when man's will is not connected with the will of God, or we say the ancestors, then man ain't willing nothing. His will is weak. You see? So we give honor to you for that question, brother. Yeah, that's one of my favorite surahs, though. The word, again, is Hamayim, which goes right back to the word Chem. And these are nothing more, the definitions are nothing more of those words that scholars have chosen. Because I can write a dictionary right now, and it's on me to choose what word I choose, in the Arabic to, convey the meaning of what I'm trying to say. Because some Qurans won't say he was made from black mud. They would say he was made from felted mud. You know what I mean? He was created, they got different interpretations. So it's really the choice of the translator. But again, our brother came in and he said this here, Noble Brian. He said, we have to stop accepting modern European slave titles. Say it again, brother, for the ones back in there in the back of the room. We have to stop accepting modern European slave titles. Most of our people do that. And that's why they fight me now about this Negro, this black, and this colored demonstration. Was our people called that in Africa? That's all I'm asking. That's what I asked Smash. Can you etymologically trace the word black back to the African soil? You can't do it. You cannot do it, Smash Rockwell. But we ain't mad at you. We just got to teach you because your ego has got the best of you. Listen to what our brother said here. He said, through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact that they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers. That's exactly why we went into slavery. Even in the Bible, for those who believe and listen to it or don't believe, whether they think it's mythos or not, it don't matter to me. But when you go into that book, it says, if my people who are called by my name will repent and turn away from their sinful ways, their evil ways, he said that he'll heal you. Problem is with our people now, they full of hatred, they full of slander, they full of lewdness, they full of murder and everything that harms us. I'm saying that because I come up out of the mud. I ain't saying that because I've been to Harvard. I've been to Oxford University somewhere. I'm saying that because I'm a brother of the cloth. I come up out of the mud, literally, the muck in the mire. I done stood out there in my youth on the block slanging death to my people. In wars, gunplay, all of that. And that's neither of no worth. That don't mean nothing. So what I'm saying, when I'm talking to you, I ain't somebody that was above you, speaking down on you. I'm your brother that come up out of the mud that you came up out of. See, most people never say this. I'm very transparent. I ain't got nothing to hide. I come from where you come from. And I'm telling you this. our people are, like Noble Drew Ali said it, and we know this to be true. He said they are hard-headed, mean, stiff-necked set of people who have never did anything except at the point of a sword. We stubborn even in our own ignorance. Somebody can bring something to us and we not know nothing about the subject matter. But just because it come from one of us, we automatically come into opposition to it. We automatically discredit it. We need a source. Put 100 sources up there, they still don't want to hear you. Then they go get a European source to try to combat your source because this is what they call academia. But you can't get me like that. You see what I'm saying? So I agree totally with Prophet Noble Drew Ali. It tell you, honor your mother and your father that your days may be long upon the land. That ain't just dealing with your immediate mother and father. That's your ancient mothers and fathers as well. You don't want to honor who you are. That's why you continuing to suffer under everything these people invent to bring forth new forms of slavery. These misnomers that you pick up. Every time they come up with another name, you agree with it. But I tell you the name that connect you to the land as the owner of the land, you reject it. Like the 5% brothers are the nation and gods and earth used to say, our people are easy to be led in the wrong direction and hard to be led in the right. That's what they refer to as the 85%. Blind, deaf, and dumb, poison animal eaters. That's what the 5%ers say now. The brothers say that is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774. And the word Negro, black, and colored was given to the Asiatics of America who were of Moorish descent. And he's saying because they honored what? Not the principles of their mother and father, and strayed after the gods of Europe whom they knew nothing. That's real talk, Brother Noble Brown. It don't get no plainer than that. You know what I mean? So this is a powerful demonstration. And yeah, Brother Jay, like you said, Smash definitely running from this discussion, you know, because he know he been busted, so to speak. You know, and that's the measure here. Our brother said, he said, Brother Commission, if Smash admits he's wrong, he won't be able to promote or sell whatever he's selling. That's exactly what I was saying, brother. And that's why he coming against me, because he feel I'm a threat to that. They usually don't have the ability to reason and hate the truth and having to start over. Sad. Facts. Facts. That brother couldn't have said it no better. You know what I mean? He said, there's nothing wrong with admitting that you're wrong. That's right, brother. There's nothing wrong with saying that you don't know. That's right. He said, Brother Commission is going to make them have book burnings. LOL. No more selling falsehood. Yeah, when the people find out they've been scammed and these people been pulling the wool over them and they've been demonstrating, you know, cloak and dagger, you know, sleeping in the bed with the enemy and all that right there. Yeah, most of their books will be burned. You know what I mean? And so here's one of our brothers, PNFSL. He said there's much ancient Moorish presence in America that people overlook because they believe Africa or Egypt is the origin of civilization. You know, and that's what we're trying to show our people, that we are indigenous to the planet, bro. You know, Kemet just so happened to be, you know, the height of civilization because it's the pretty much the tablets of the ancients left in stone, so to speak, when it comes to dealing with showing our monumental acts and everything we did, and it's written in papyri as far as the history is concerned. So when we go into that history, my brother, you know, or sister, if that may be a sister, you know what I mean? Yeah, our people don't know that we indigenous to the planet. You know, they've been taught that we've been divided, you know, and they have allowed themselves to be conquered. Our brothers say Smell Like Smash has accepted the modern European agenda to suppress the truth and attempt to oppress the Moors. The prophet said, learn to be honest and oaths are unnecessary. And he definitely on the oath, bro. I know that for a fact. He definitely part of that demonstration. You know, so a lot of time they can't say what we say openly. You know what I mean? Yeah, they can't say what we say openly. You know what I mean? And so it just goes on and on, family. We give honor to our family. You know, our brother, somebody asked, let me see here. Our goddess said, she said it right here. Sister Lightbearer. She said they tried to hide it. Yeah, they tried to hide it. They still trying to hide it. It's sad our own people trying to hide it. She said also, she said, we are balanced people taken out of balance in our mind. You right, sis? And our sister also said, yep, the devil is lurking, is always lurking around. That's exactly what's going on. Every time I put something out there dealing with peace, they come attacking. He ain't the only one, a couple of them. You know, I don't care about them disagreeing with me. That don't bother me at all. You know, I'm just talking about the attacks. You know, this is crazy too, right? Because they'll go to talk about how many Europeans they hang around, you know, and they be in the midst of them and they look at them with respect. But then you try to find your own people. You know what I mean? And you'll go in opposition to your own people because you think they believe different from you. I call it religious gangbanging. That's basically all that. I don't like you because you're more. That's retarded. You know what I mean? I ain't never disliked somebody for being who they is. All us got friends, and all us as friends don't believe the same thing. All of us as friends do not believe the same thing, but you don't never see people, you know, go into their friendship, you know, based upon what somebody believes. So if a person may be Muslim, that one may be Christian, that may be Jewish or Hebrew or whatever, that don't even come to mind if somebody your friend. Most of the time, y'all will ride or die together. So what's the problem? What is the problem? Like I say, other than somebody may have sent you. You see what I'm saying? And so, yeah, it's a whole bunch of drawings in here. We give honors to our family, you know, on everything that was brought here. And I know this may be one of our people, you know, that may have a bad taste of what is called Egyptology. Let me say this to your family. You say Egypt was slave traders and not your people. All of our people at some point in the time participated in enslaving our people. That don't justify it and make it right. But all of our people at some time or another have basically participated in these things. Now, what I will tell you is this. The teaching according to the Bible, you got to go to Isaiah 19 because you sound like somebody that may be even biblical or they are dealing with the Hebrew thought and they don't know what me and my Hebrew brothers and sisters are demonstrating. Because I got some Moorish Hebrew family, you know, and they know Isaiah 19. Go read that, MLW. And you'll find that the Egyptians and the Hebrews or the Israelites and the Assyrians were actually being enslaved together. Now, the question that you would have to ask after that is who was on the manifest enslaving them? It was none other than the Hyksos or the Hyksos. And that's a broad term because it was used for more than just, you know, a pale-skinned people. Hyksos was really a term for foreign rulers. But in this case, we're talking about the pale-skinned foreign rulers who came from the north, or which is called actually lower Egypt, pardon self, because they came out of the Caucasus Mountains. That's where Hyksos and all of that come from. You see, they came out of that region. And so it was these who infiltrated Kemet after the uniting of Kemet, according to our brother Ivan Van Sertima. Not Ivan Van Sertima, but Chancellor Williams, the destruction of Black civilization, as he called it. You know, he spoke of you know, those Hikakasu who came out of that region, and they enslaved our people. So we allowed them to come in after MENA united Lower and Upper Kemet. It was the love we had. We didn't see people as enemies, so we let them in, and they came in and usurped the throne. And after that time, from about 15th dynasty to the 16th dynasty, maybe a little into the 17th, the Hyksos ruled, but we end up getting the rule back. And we ruled all the way back up into the last native Egyptian ruled at 360 BC. Hence in that drawing is the completion, 360 degrees of knowledge. Because after that, the Ptolemies came in and Kemet ain't never been the same since. For those of you who don't know who the Ptolemies are, these are Greeks. They came in under Alexander the Greek, as they call themselves. You know, we saying that for a lack of better terms to let our people know, even though we know it really ain't no such thing as Greek people. They were called Etruscans originally. They were called Kiftihu, you know, just to correct and give you the right terminology. So, yeah, it was these people who came in. So it was not the Egyptians who enslaved the Israelites. It was those who usurped the throne of Egypt that enslaved the Israelites, the Egyptians, and the Assyrians. Isaiah 19 bear me witness to this. Go and read it and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. If we want to go off the biblical narrative now. So that's what I say about that. You know, also, I see some new comments down here. Yes, sir. Peace, brother Selassie Rabe. Hold up. Let me drop this in here just in case our family may want to come in here. That's the link. Because we got open session right now. If our family would like to come in here, you know, and we can draw. Yeah, okay. Our brother said here, he said what they call Hama in Arabic is rich, alluvial, dark, black soil. It's descriptive. That's right, brother. And that's what I was just telling them a few minutes ago. But if they really want to get into some concept of hue, there's a measure in the Quran where it says we take on the hue or the color of Allah. You know, and it was really talking about his attributes. That's called Sebagatala. You know, recognizing the God state. We hear a lot of people talk about Milata Ibrahim, you know, the religion of Abraham. Nothing wrong with that. You know, the religion of Islam, Deen al-Islam. But you never hear people talk about Sabigatila, Sabik. You see, this means to take on the attributes of the great God. Not to the extent where, you know, you trying to get somebody to worship you. This is talking about one taking on the characteristics as they manifest the attributes. If God represent, you know, love, then he send you as an agent of love. He send you as an agent of truth, an agent of peace, an agent of freedom, an agent of justice. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, we're not in opposition to that. So the brothers say feeded is the same. Black mud because of decayed wood and leaves, which is rich for planting. That's right. That's right. And that's why the Nile Valley civilization, you know, is so fertile when you deal with the Nile. You know, that's where they get everything from. You know, when you're dealing with the actual soil itself, you know, but that's not a people. That is not dealing with a people. You feel me? That ain't dealing with a people. And as soon as we figure that out, the better off we'll be, you know, as a people. Let me see. I think I got something in the private chat here too. Our brother JJ came in here and said somebody started getting personal. Yeah, most definitely. Okay, that's just our family addressing what they seen. Peace, brother Potter Bay. And that's brother Lewis Potter Bay, part himself. So yeah, those are my drawings, family. And you know, we just want to make sure y'all like and subscribe, share this information, make it available to the public. You know, because we're gonna keep bringing the truth to our people. You know, a mastermind would never, you know, screen itself for the sake of reputation and fame. So commission ain't running from nobody. You know what I mean? Well, what's next? We're going to continue to bring these measures on the manifest to get our people closer to understanding building government, beloved brother Jay. You know what I mean? That's what we're going to do. We're going to get our people familiar with government, but we have to give all this history and teach our people these things so that they will have the proper context of understanding. So if somebody approach them, they can give them a favorable reply, so to speak. They can tell them exactly, you know, what is meant when we say more. They can give the history, you know, go into the documents and the records and so forth and so on. You know, so that's what's next. We're going to try to get our people to understand, you know, government. Because, you know, we don't believe in being here just sitting here talking about this type of stuff all day, you know, and just not doing them. We want to be active and not passive. But in order for our people to get a grip on what we're talking about, a reality, so to speak, we got to teach them, you know, where they've been miseducated, you know, and that will further bring us together. Everything I say is brought forth to bring us into unity. It's not dealing with a divisive concept, but if one is sensitive, they'll think that I'm attacking, you know, and I can't change the way one accept what I say. You know what I mean? I know my intent. It says, Anonymous Hebrew, our beloved brother said, peace to you, King. He said, how familiar are you with the colonization of the nomadic Semite by the Hyksos ruler? Oh yeah, I'm very familiar. Like I was telling you, you know, this is the key of one understanding. You know, this is very key. You know, I'm familiar with that history. You know, but they colonized, you know, the Egyptians and the Assyrians as well. You know, so at a particular time when they was in rulership. We give honor to your brother Anonymous Hebrew as well. You know, so yeah, family. We done been on this demonstration 3 hours and going on 30. And I just want to give honors to everybody that showed up and y'all showed out with the comments. You know, our brothers say the truth does not change or pass away. That's right. The truth is the only thing that changes not. You know, we have most definitely made ourselves plain and clear. And we're going to give our Moorish kin, you know, a grand draw when it comes to the music, you know, to take our people to another level of elevation. And anytime y'all want to come on here, you welcome, family. Like I say, I always open my panel up so that our people can hear what we have to draw. And then, you know, all is well, you know. Okay, so let me go here and turn this track on for our family.
I'm a stepper, I'm a slider, I'm all in. For my people, I'm a rider, I'm all in. I'm done imperial provider until the end. And I put it on my family ties, I'm destined to win. I'm a stepper, I'm a slider, I'm all in. For my people, I'm a rider, I'm all in. I'm done imperial provider until the end. And I put it on my family ties, I'm destined to win. Generational wealth, it brings freedom and death. But this is holy breath, so I'm freeing myself. I got knowledge of self, and a hell of a breath. Keep a positive vibe, strategic when I step. You went against the grain, and you slandered my name. Betrayed our sacred trust, and brought us both shame. I'm talking pure pain. How could you envy me? I was my brother's keeper. How could you do this me? I heard your solid hits and all that sneak dissing. This is God's plan. You plotted, but you missed me. So as I unfold, witness my success. I'm a phoenix in flight, fearless in the face of death. So while I'm still here, I'm applied pressure. I know these devils jealous, and my enemies are zealous. I keep my head on the swivel, even though I'm really careless. This scimitar's for the beast, so don't get beheaded. I'm a stepper, I'm a slider, I'm all in. For my people, I'm a ride, I'm all in. I'm done and fearing you provide until the end. And I put it on my family ties, I'm destined to win. I'm a stepper, I'm a slider, I'm all in. For my people, I'm a ride, I'm all in. I'm done and fearing you provide until the end. And I put it on my family ties, I'm destined to win. Whatever happened to the love we open enemies? My only vision of unity is vivid memories. I used to feel that the struggle was the bond that made us brothers. Why must we fight on each other? In the end, we all suffer. Crabs in the trap, falling by climbing, reaching for freedom. But our future seeds are dying young, it's a shortage of leaders. I just buried my comrade, and he used to serve the people. Then I watched the people betray him and justify the evil. Even though the angels are present, demons are in the sky. They contemplate on my demise, and this I can't deny. My ministry of death is immortal of the vine. The epic will of Allah in the seventh of the time. Last of a dying breed, but I'm willing to sacrifice. Yeah, these are trying times of affliction, many stripes. Every passion of my life is to be a living legend and lead my people to liberation, cause I was destined.
Yeah, I just want to give honor to our family and say peace and love, family. You know what I mean? Peace and love and law at all costs. If we don't teach our people, who will? You know what I mean? That's what I want to say. If we don't teach our people, who will? So we encourage our family, to be safe, stay on the front line and don't let up when it comes to banging on this beast. And we talk about banging on the beast, we talking about that lower self, that lower nature that make you want to hate your brother, because you believe that he see things different than you do. It's all love, family. You know what I mean? So let us stand for what is right and join what is right and forbid everything along the lines of wrong. Peace and love.